Three, two, one. NRL fantasy team lists are in, and we are disappointed, Turtles. We're disappointed, but I didn't want to handle this one by myself, so I brought the legend in. Turtles, man, I got to ask you, because we had a bit of a sneak peek here. What are you looking for in these team lists before we start tearing in?
I'm looking for solid value players starting. I don't want any players off the bench, basically. The new introduction of the six-man bench is got me a little bit worried, especially after seeing the rotation in the Dragons. So I'm just looking for starters. I'm looking for value players, and let's dig into this.
Man, I'm so keen. Let's rip right in. Let's right in here because got a lot of lists to look at. By the way, guys, shoot your questions through. Try to ask questions about the team we're looking at the time as well. That's the key there. Now, quickly, we'll shout out ballers as well. You had JC, Jaden Campbell. I saw some people had Jaden Campbell in vice captain. So, yeah, my heart goes out to you guys. Now, these team lists here, Storm first. We've got Suafea-Longo at fullback. We're looking at Will Warbrick, Howarth, Leo, and Meaney in the back line. Halves are Munster and Hughes as expected. Forward pack, Atokamanu, Grant, Josh King. In the back row is Chan, Lasardi, and Alec McDonald at lock. Interchange, you've got Wishart, Cooper Clark, Tuika Mithamitha, David Moale, Preston Conn, and STB on the bench there. In terms of that Storm side, I mean, Moses Leo is an interesting one, right? He's near base price. He gets the center spot, shifts Meaney out to the wing. Turtles, I'll throw to you first here. Moses Leo, is he going to be in your side?
He was originally because he was very cheap. He was expected to take over the Xavier Coates spot. I don't know how this is going to impact him being at center. So maybe he's going to have a little bit less runs, but then it might balance out with a little bit more defensive work rate. So it's interesting to see how this moves forward. He will probably get the dual position because he's been starting with center here. The other interesting player I want to talk about is Nick Meaney now. So if Nick Meaney starts running the ball a lot more now that he's wing fullback or on the wing, then goal kicking as well. I expect an uptick in him compared to last year because last year he wasn't goal kicking as much.
Man, yeah, that'd be interesting. I haven't looked at his numbers on the wing, Nick Meaney, to be honest. I remember he was at the Dogs. He was at fullback and he was a pretty average scorer there. But that Dogs team wasn't too good. By the way, we've been asked too. Cushy day job apparently for you, looking super fly. Do you want to tell them what you do?
I'm a teacher. So we dress professionally at my school and I try to be a good role model for the kids. So I wear proper dress every day, including, as you can see, shirt and tie. So
wow,
that's how it is.
You're a classy man. Meanwhile, I wear this to the office and we live with that. But yeah, look, you've made a good point there. Meaning we have to check out the numbers. So for buy, hold, sell, we'll have a look at those numbers for wing. Everyone's mentioning Isaiah Papali'i as well. We'll get to Isaiah Papali'i. In fact, we might even just jump to that game next. But Moses Leo is going to be one that I'll check out the reserve grade numbers through the week. He's at a pretty good price there. He's got a good spot in this Storm team. Look, Storm Center doesn't guarantee great scoring. We've seen Jack Howarth really struggle in that spot. He's a talented guy. So I would say for Moses Leo, temper expectations. I think he has some big days in him, but he's going to have some quiet games as well. He's probably one I'm going to squeeze into the team, especially with the fact that Josh Paxton is letting us all down. That's a bit of a spoiler for that Titans team list. For the rest of the team here, I mean, Suafea-Longo, he's at wing there. He's one that, fullback there. He's one that we're all looking at the fullback spot. Munster and Hughes. There was a bit of talk about Jerome Hughes dealing with a bit of a shoulder issue coming into the season. That's something that you usually want to avoid with Jerome Hughes. When he's fully fit, he's a monster. But when he carries that shoulder issue, it tends to affect him. Cam Munster could be a pod priced at a 50. Just throwing that out there. Atoka Manu's one that's really divisive. Turtles, how do you feel about Atoka Manu and where do you rank him, right? Because we're looking at him. We're looking at guys like Isaiah Papali'i, who's now on the bench. Jermaine Hopgood. We're looking at Tino. We're looking at these types of players. Can he compete with those sorts of guys?
I think he definitely can. Looking at this bench, we have Wishart. We've got a couple of players that don't really look familiar to me. I don't really know who Cooper Clark is or Preston Conn, but we have Tuika Mithamitha also sitting on the bench. He's getting a bit old, so I don't think he's going to have too many minutes. If Stefano Ikamanu gets 55 to 60 minutes, I reckon he can do some damage in that role. Similar price point would probably be Jermaine Hopgood. So it's interesting because they're versing Parafa, so it's going to be a direct comparison between the two when we're looking at them. What I did like from Stefano last year was towards the back end of the season, he proved what he can do if he got more ball and had more, determination in his run. We started seeing more tackle breaks. We started seeing the offloads. And then to confirm this, we saw a little bit of it during preseason as well. I think he threw 3 offloads in one of the preseason games, which is very promising from your forwards. So I'm actually really interested in Stefano Icumanu at this stage, especially after looking at that softish bench.
Yeah. I mean, let's look at it, right? Because you've got Tyron Wishart. He probably gets a run. I would say if they're running him on the bench, they're probably giving him a run in maybe a roaming 13 type role or something like that. Cooper Clark, Tuika Mitha, David Moale. These guys aren't big minute guys. Then Preston Con and STB. Yeah, you raise a good point here. I mean, the issue is Trent Leero comes back pretty soon. You've got the fact that Sean Bloor will come back soon as well, most likely. Lasardi will come into the middle forward rotation. So I think that has an impact. Hetherington is in the squad somewhere. He's not been named, but he could be a guy who comes in too. So that's one thing I just factor in, that it could potentially change pretty quickly. The other one to look at here is Lasardi. So if you don't have Ryan Couchman, which I'm in that boat, I don't have Ryan Couchman right now. I want to see the role. I did not expect 60 minutes off the bench, off the bat there for Ryan Couchman. But hey, if you got on, good job. Lasardi is one that you can take a gamble on. So you could buy Lasardi right now. He's probably guaranteed a pretty good score this week. It's murky for next week. So if you buy Lasardi now and you have that option to trade him to Ryan Couchman for roughly the same price next week, it's not a bad move. So I'm thinking about potentially doing that too. Now we'll jump to the Eels team list. And by the way, guys, if you are new here, so 650 people so far, it's pretty sweet. If you're new here, you generally want to ask questions about the teams that are on the board as we're talking through them. And at the end of the video, we'll do Q&A and we'll answer random questions about your teams as well. So for the Eels here, Isaiah Yongi at fullback. Backline is Bailey Simonson, Will Penasini, Brian Kelly, and Sean Russell grabs a wing spot there. Jonah Pezzett and Mitch Moses in the halves. Forward pack is Hopgood, Smith, and Paulo in the front row. Williams, Kautonga, and DeBellin in the back row. Interchange, we have Walker, Tuiviti, Dury, De Silva, and then we've got Kelma Tuolangi and Josh Papali'i rounding things out. Now, for this side here, I would say just for that bench rotation, you're looking at Dylan Walker coming out at the lock spot. I would say Jack DeBellin spends a bit of time at prop. They're probably going to play a bit more than 40 minutes each. Sam Tuiviti is probably more of a 30-minute prop off the bench. And Matt Dury, I would say he's capped at about 30 minutes as well. Had a good preseason, but defensively, he starts to struggle after too many minutes. So I think maybe even two 15-minute stints there. Talon De Silva comes on at hooker. There's potential that Riley Smith possibly plays a little bit of lock as well. Bit of talk about that happening too. So just keep that in mind there. But it is a pretty favorable bench here for some of the forwards. And the question we got so far, Turtles, was, do I buy Jermaine Hopgood? I saw Phil Eel ask that before. What do you think here? Is that a bench that you can vibe with, or what are you thinking?
See, the issue with this Eels bench is there's a lot of names that we've seen from previous years, unlike the Storm bench. So we have Dylan Walker, who can chew up some middle minutes. Kelma Tuolangi can go onto the side where Jack Williams is, and Jack Williams can also play up the middle. So we also have Matt Dury, who plays up the middle as well. Sam Tuiviti, great young prop coming through as well. So someone's going to be chewing up some minutes, but I don't see any of those chewing up too many, except probably Dylan Walker. I feel like Dylan Walker will get the most out of that bench, minutes-wise. For Jermaine Hopgood, we did see an uptick last year, similar to Stefano Icumanu. Towards the end of last year, him being moved to prop for Jermaine Hopgood, we saw an uptick in his performance, work rate, and then same thing as Stefano Icumanu. We see the same system basically repeating during the preseason. I liked what I saw from Jermaine Hopgood. I saw that he got all the dirty work done, and it was very simple footy. Complete your tackles, run the ball. He kind of didn't really offload as much, but we know Jermaine Hopgood. We know who he is, and he always has that offload on him.
Yeah, I'm tempted by Hopgood, by the way. That last 6 weeks, it was about a 60 average. He was sort of in that area. He's been a 60 average across 4 seasons before. This bench is very favorable because Matt Dury, Sam Tuiviti, they're very much impact players. Jack DeBellin's, what's he, about 34 years old? Something like that. Like, he's not going to play massive minutes. Dylan Walker's there. I think Hopgood's going to be the big minute guy. And the other thing is, you look at Junior Barlow, he was a guy who played massive minutes last year. I don't know if that continues because he's also, heading into the twilight of his career, right? He's approaching 300 games. So I think they have to run Jermaine Hopgood. And he showed that he can handle the minutes in the preseason too. I don't want to go too deep into the stats, but in that preseason game, he had 27 tackles, no misses, about 100 meters run, 2 offloads. So pretty flawless game where it felt like he was doing it comfortably. So for Jermaine Hopgood, I'm a big fan. in of that option. Now we're getting a bunch of messages here. Everyone likes your business attire, man. Everyone thinks you're bouge.
Next time I'm going to come in a tux.
You've even kept your top button done up. That's crazy.
Yeah, because I got to tell the kids they got to do it. And like I said, be a role model. So I have to do it as well.
Well, I mean, you got the fantasy sports club at school too. So I'm sure you got a few of them watching right now. Super Pod, Aitken, stay off my pod, boys. I don't mind bench for Hopgood. I agree with that. Where's Lomax? We have to cover this just briefly here. So if you haven't caught up on the Lomax situation, there was a deal that seemed agreed upon, right? Where the Storm would pay a bit of money to Parramatta. Some of that would come off the cap. They would also take Ryan Madison and take his contract, which Parramatta are trying to get rid of. That would relieve a lot of salary cap for Para, and they would get Zach Lomax as a result of that. Para were happy to do this, apparently. This is what I've heard. But Madison was not happy to move to Melbourne. So he wanted to stay in reserve grade at Parramatta, and that sort of shut things down. That's the rumor I've heard. It's not confirmed. It's all alleged, but that's a scenario. As a fantasy player, though, Ryan Madison's $300K. I was really keen for him to go to Melbourne because as if he wouldn't start over Alec McDonald or, some of these guys. Like he would have been a fantasy killer, but, he's made the call. He wants to play for Wenny. Now, Longy, thoughts on Kautonga? This is one of those ones, Turtles, where offloading back rower, had a good first year. Parramatta's improving in attack. He had a few nice offloads in that trial game as well. Is he one of those ones where, because I feel like you're allowed to take one of these like pods, these pod mid-ranges that you're just backing a leap for. Can you see Kautonga doing it?
The interesting thing is, if I had to pick one, because they're quite similar price points, and I think they're about 50, 60K difference between Jack Williams and Kautonga, I think I would lean towards Williams because I'm pretty sure Williams is going to be playing outside Moses. And we've seen back rowers in the past with like Bryce Cartwright joining the Cardi party. They get a lot of ball from Mitchell Moses. He feeds them quality ball, throws them into holes. And that's what you kind of want from your back rowers because you're looking for, one, the defensive work rate, but also the potential to go boom. And that's what we saw with Preston on the weekend. They score a try. Suddenly, they instead of being a 50, 60 player, they move up into the 70 area, which is what we basically want. I feel like Jack Williams on that side, on the right side, has more potential to go boom compared to Kautonga, sitting outside Peasant. So if I had to pick between the two, I'm probably leaning towards Williams. And Williams also has DPP.
Wow. See, I don't know about Williams. Like, you need that attacking upside. That's the big thing. And he's very expensive. But if he goes on a run of try scoring, I could see the vision there. And we've been asked about Joe Chan, by the way. I'm just thinking back to when we all owned Joe Chan. He was playing 70, 80 minutes in the back row. From memory, the scores were like 23, 32, 29 with a try, 31 with a try, 33, 21. Like, it was just absolutely shocking. So I'm going to say no to Joe Chan just because the scoring upside isn't there. It doesn't really matter what happens for him. Like, if Sean Bloor comes back, there's the potential that Joe Chan doesn't even play 80 minutes, and 80 minutes is already tough enough. We've got people calling Hopgood a trap, Hopgood to get good minutes. Thoughts on Hopgood? People asking about Hines. If Hopgood back is good this year, we should see Hopgood. Yeah, look, there's a lot of thoughts about Hopgood. They seem very, very volatile right now. So, look, you're either on Hopgood or you're not. I personally am a big fan. It sounds like you're a bit of a fan too, Turtles. Yeah, Hopgood versus Tokamanu, though. You got to pick one. Which one is it?
Looking at the bench, I think it's more favorable for Stefano. I think he's going to end up getting more minutes. All
right. You go at Tokamanu, I go Hopgood. There's probably a bet in that somewhere. We'll see how they go round one, then we can talk about it. Mate, I'm already going to have to dye my beard blonde with that Dylan Brown bet. Dylan Brown came out, 5 missed tackles, no attacking stats, no tackle busts. Like, come on, man. I need Dylan Brown to step up next week. All right, so Warriors v Roosters up next. And for the Wars, we've got CNK at fullback, DWZ, Ali Leotoa gets that spot with Adam Pompey, RTS. Then we go into the halves with CHT and Tanner Boyd. Forward pack is James Fisher-Harris, Wade Egan, Jackson Ford in the front row. Back row is Kurt Capewell, Jacob Laban, Aaron Clark. And the bench here is Sam Healy at hooker, Valmunga, Leka Halasima, TSS. And then we've got Tuapiki and Gannon on the bench there too. Bit of chat that Gannon is more of a middle forward, by the way, but the fact that he's in jersey 20 probably indicates he's not going to be in the rotations. I would say it's most likely Valmunga and TSS in that front row rotation there. Leka Halasima will come on and play big minutes somewhere, probably the back row. That's not the best news for either Laban or Capewell. And then Healy's going to come on at hooker for about 20 minutes, I would say, in this game. So that would be their ideal rotation. If there's an injury in the back line, either Halasima goes to center or Tuapiki comes in and plays wing or fullback. That would probably mean that a guy like either Sam Healy or TSS will drop out. So, yeah, we'll try to give our analysis here, Turtle Seal, on what we expect for these rotations because the six-man is brutal. Does anything stand out to you about this Warriors team, though? Like anything fantasy relevant for you at all?
I remember when I started looking at the center position, and I was trying to find players who had DPP for center because a lot of our guns, like Dylan Lucas and Bo Firma, all lost their DPP last year. So what I ended up with was Ewan Aiken and Kurt Capewell. And then I saw Kurt Capewell starting, and I'm like, okay, maybe at his price point, maybe he can jag us a 40 weekly. Maybe if he gets a try, 45 onwards. But now that we see Halasima on the bench instead of starting with Lachlan Laban, who has clearly won that spot, it makes me a little bit dicey about Kurt Capewell's spot. I think it makes it dicey for both Laban and Capewell, just having like a seamer there because he could fit in either side. He can also play in the center as well if they do have that injury. But I'm probably going to avoid both Capewell and Laban here. Probably, I think what influences it a lot is one, we have David Fafita. Two, we have Hila Maluki. We have our edges already, and a lot of people are looking to spend their money elsewhere, especially with a lot of really, really expensive players like Payne Haas, Cleary, and Herbie. You want to try and manage your money, but we also need cheapies to earn us money, and Kurt Capewell might be that guy. I'm just not super convinced yet. I think I'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably be more likely to go Jacob Laban if I was going one of the two. And again, it's one of those ones where if you're planning to buy Ryan Couchman next week, some of these types of guys, you take a shot on Laban. I think he has big attacking upside in the right matchups. But yeah, like you said, Halasima, in my view, is their best back rower. So
100%.
He's going to eat up 60 minutes, 50 minutes here, and it's going to screw someone over. So yeah, avoiding two. A lot of people asking about the Roosters team, by the way. This Roosters team is spicy as. We're going to get to it in a sec, guys. Blake Steep is going to be one that we talk about for about half an hour. Probably not on this show, but he's going to be a bit of a must-have. He was used as a bit of a placeholder as well. So a lot of us jumped off Hamish Stewart last week and jumped onto Blake Steep or jumped onto Cole Hoon or these types of players. But with Steep at lock there, he's going to be one that we definitely target. So let's keep talking here. Leia Tower. Is Leia Tower a good pick? We got Tobiah asking that question. Look, for Leia Tower, I pencil him in as like a 35 type of average here. I think that potentially pushes upwards when Luke Metcalf comes back in. But he's kind of in the same boat as a lot of these, cheapies that we have going on. So Setu too, I sort of had in that area. Tom Chester has proven he's like that 35 to 38 type of guy. Like these guys are all in that sort of area. I think Fayamani is a bit below these other guys, by the way. I just don't like the Titans attack, especially without Jaden Campbell. But for Leia Tower, you need the Warriors rolling and attacking well. And I don't see this game being the one where they really dominate. They're sort of hobbling into the season. There's no Mitch Barnett right now. There's Luke Metcalf. There's a bit of talk that CHT was a bit underdone as well. So I'm not keen on Leia Tower. I'm assuming you're sort of in the same boat here.
Yeah, basically, like he needs attacking stats essentially, and you're 100% right. The matchup is not favorable. They do get the home game here, which does help, but the Roosters pack is just really, really spicy this year. So not just picking the picks, but the amount of stars they have on this team is kind of unreal. So I don't think it's the right time to jump on him, especially that most people have already jumped on Chester. That should be your cheapie center. You should have locked that in. You already have Makasini on the bench as well. So that's already two centers. And how many centers do you want in your team, basically? Because to me, center is probably the weakest spot in fantasy at the moment. So Alatau, not for me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do like him, though. I think he will return some value, but it's going to take too long. He needs to keep that spot. The other risk, by the way, is Halasima played center in the trials. If Leotau is having a shocker, Halasima might come on at center. There's just too much mess here. There's too much mess. He scored like a 30 in that trial game with a try and a try assist. So, yeah, that's no go for me. Now we'll go across to the Roosters here because this is where everyone wants to be. There's not too much else to say about the Wars right now. For the Roosters, Tedesco at fullback. Backline is Daniel Tupou, Billy Smith, Rob Toya, and Mark Nwani Dawase. That was always fun. Remember last year when we jumped on for the first stream, we were trying to say it?
It's so hard to say.
It's so natural now. It's so natural. Trey Evans and Sam Walker in the halves. And this is where it gets juicy. The forward pack for the Roosters. I promised I wasn't going to go there this year. I said that, and I have been proven a liar. We have Nafahu White in the front row, Iolu Collins. Then we have the back row of Gus Crichton. Nat Butcher takes the spot, and Blake Steep at the lock spot. Interchange is Connor Watson, Sil Wong, Egan Butcher, Spencer Lenu, and then we have Cody Ramsey as backline cover and Pauga as additional backline cover there. So from my perspective here, if I was looking at this rotation, I think the top 4 guys of the bench are the ones who are going to get on. I'm going to say Connor Watson plays bulk minutes at lock. I think Iolu plays about 60 minutes a hooker. Connor Watson takes the other 20 minutes there. Then you've got Sil Wong. He's going to play in the middle rotation as well. I don't think the Roosters are too fussed about prop versus lock, so he's going to play a bit of prop there. You've got Spencer Lenu playing a bunch of prop off the bench as well. And Egan Butcher potentially spells one of the edges or plays middle too. So this is not a good bench for Blake Steep, but the talent of Blake Steep and the positive indicator of seeing him as a starting lock, to me is, I'm going to need to look into this a bit more deeply, but to me is probably enough at about 420K that I just want to back the talent here. Like, I don't like the bench, but I love him as a player, man. Like, I love him as a player. Great PPM. He has some attacking upside. Deceptively quick too. He scored a try in that the All-Stars game where he looks super fast. So I'm probably sold on Blake Steep. Keen to hear your thoughts though.
For me, I feel like my perception of this configuration is a little bit different. I feel like Connor Watson is actually going to take a lot of hooker minutes off Iolu. Am I saying that right?
Iolu, yeah.
Iolu. So I'm pretty sure at some stage last year they had, I think it was either Sandon Smith or Zach Tucker-Clay come on starting hooker, and everyone wanted to jump on him because they were starting. They played about 25 to 30 minutes in the hooker position. Connor Watson came on, played the rest of the game in hooker. The other guy never came back. I feel like the Roosters, since they've done that before, I feel like they might do it again. The rest of the bench can all play basically second row, front row, or even some of them play edge as well. So I feel like they're the ones who are going to be rotating with Steep. There's a decent potential Steep ends up playing 60 minutes here. And if he does, we've seen it in the past. His work rate is amazing. His PPM is solid as well. If he gets 60 minutes, I reckon he's going to get that high 50 score. So at that price point, it's easy money. If it doesn't work out, easy cash drop to Couchman.
Yeah, man, the upside's so good. I'm with you there completely. And I think also the Roosters have had some injuries in the past. So there's always the potential that kind of thing keeps happening and, you know, the money just comes in. You've got people saying, so again, range of outcomes in the comments. Steep is a trap from Dog Soldier R6G. That's a username I trust. And then you've got Steep, Back the Talent, and PPM from Negan, right? I don't know if he's Negan, the villain from The Walking Dead, or some other Negan. Then you got the question, Steep or Colhoun, Sewer or Sewer, Loney or Longy. Like, there's a lot of questions. Everyone's excited. Yeah, look, I think we're both keen on Steep. We'll put it at our call 100% as we go through. This year, by the way, guys, we're doing a team reveal on Thursdays as well. So, in fact, Tuddles, I might even get you on for that too, and we can get your team reveal too. I think Steep is going to be there though. Looking at the rest of this team for the Roosters, noteworthy players I want to discuss here: James Tedesco, Rob Toya, Sam Walker. Then we have Iolu, Gus Crichton, Nat Butcher, and the forward pack as well. For Teddy, I just want to mention him. He's one that's really been slept on. He's an interesting pod. Now, if you kind of wanted to go, hey, you wanted another Isaiah Yeo in your team, basically. The Isaiah Yeo of wing fullbacks. That's kind of what James Tedesco is. Now, there's upside and downside here. Upside is the Roosters are a much better team this year, but the downside is James Tedesco was so ball dominant last year, and that's not going to repeat. So you're going to see some really high scores from Teddy this year. I think some 100-plus games. But you're also going to see those quiet games where the ball doesn't go his way. So just keep an eye on that. I think Teddy is an interesting option this year. You got Rob Toya there as well. I'll ask you, Turtles, is Rob Toya one that you'd recommend people consider? Do you worry about that injury cloud, or what are your thoughts here?
Originally, it was up between Toya and Meaney for me. I saw that Meaney had an uptick in if he was goal kicking again, maybe at center. I feel like that dynamic changes that winger now. I haven't really done the stat deep dive for him at winger, but Toya was one that was contemplating early, just were like, maybe he takes that second year lead. In his first year, he had great achievements. He held his own in what's called Origin, which was great. He did his job at the Roosters. Everyone started with him last year, and I'm pretty sure he started with a 50-plus score. So it was easy stats, great defensive work rate out of a center. Does he make that second year leap at that price point? I think he's at just above 500K, right? So it's difficult to say. I feel like I'm still leaning towards the Meaney pick out of the two.
Yeah, I like Toya personally, but unfortunately, I've locked in Bradton Best. Mate, he was looking good. That left edge was lethal because my theory was Knights attack is going to be sick this year. They're going to be so slept on. They're going to cook the Cowboys. Fletcher Sharp's going to be in everything, and Bradton Best is going to benefit. Fletcher Sharp wasn't everything, and then he went down injured. So I'm still going to stick with it because Sharp is back round 3. But the 35 to start or 32 or whatever it was, not the best. We're getting a good question here. Would you get Iolu? And if he doesn't work out, bring in Brandon Smith when he comes back in about round 3. This is not a bad strategy. I don't necessarily think you need to plan for positional trades, though. Like, I think you can be a bit more fluid with your team because you're not going to be starting Iolu, right? Like, you probably have Reed Marnie or someone else. You're not going to be starting Brandon Smith. I highly recommend you don't do that. So, yeah, this is not a bad plan, but I would keep your options open in terms of positional moves. Does Turtles give out many detentions?
Yeah, a decent amount. I think I had 2 today. You
got high standards. That's the same as your fantasy side. Rob's locked in. Big things to come from Dunners. Iorelu. Okay, I've got to work on that one. Give me time. It's always the start of the year. So even if Steep goes bad, you can switch to Couchman. Yeah, for sure, you could. I personally think that if you're going Steep, you give him a few weeks. The price he's at and the PPM he has, if he plays 40 minutes a game, which I think he will, I very much doubt he's going to play 30 minutes. Like, he's the starting lock. He's going to play 40-plus minutes. I think he's going to be worth keeping. And then things go right at the right time with injuries and that kind of thing, and he really flexes upwards. Still hot on Toya as a pod? Yeah, 100%. I think this is a good matchup. I think the Warriors, by the way, a few people were upset when I said they'd get beaten in this one. I've got them surging into the 8 and making a solid top 8 position when Metcalf and Barnett come back. But until then, I think they might struggle. I just think the attack is a bit rudderless without Metcalf. Nat Butcher. Here's a good question from Zach O'Malley. Nat Butcher's been that 55 scorer in the past when he has had that starting back row spot. Turtles, do you see the upside in this pod? Do you think it's worth a swing, or does that 4-forward bench just make you think, nah, I'm not going to have a part of this?
Right now in fantasy, he's only available in mid position. Now that he's landed that edge spot, he should get DPP. The biggest issue with me is you have Wong and his brother Egan Butcher, who both can play in that second row spot as well. So sometimes when we look at a 4-forward bench, sometimes it's just all props and maybe a bench hooker or a bench lock. Not often do you have a whole bunch of bench second rowers, and they have the luxury of that by having 2 in this game. And they're flexible enough that they can also play in the middle. So it's a bit dicey for me. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, I'm looking for players with value, but also who I expect to have big minutes. Looking at this bench, it's very unclear on how much minutes the hooker, the second row, and the lock are going to get. So because there's so many factors involved, I might steer clear. However, if we look at Angus Crichton, I feel like he's locked in for 80 minutes, right? He's usually that 80-minute second rower. If I had to pick a player from this starting bench, or starting forward pack, it would probably be Crichton.
Yeah, well, Crichton's one we're getting asked about a lot. Friar Terry and about 40 other people have asked about Gus Crichton. So we're getting there, guys. And by the way, we're not going to be able to answer every specific question, but we'll try to cover every single guy because I'm reading through the comments, trying to make sure we nail every question, generally speaking. So a lot of people are asking about Gus Crichton. They're asking about moving Isaiah Papali'i to Gus Crichton, these types of plays. Gus Crichton comes into this year priced at a 50. He has been that 60 guy in the past. He is leaving the club at the end of the year, though, right? So I don't know. I think they've got a lot of young guys coming through that are pushing for these minutes. You know, a guy like Fiketti even, like he's not in the 17. He's a guy who at some point will push for minutes, I think. So that's where I sort of think, is Gus Crichton guaranteed the 80 minutes? Now, nothing in the past has indicated that he's not, but I just worry about that a little bit. And if I'm paying up big for an edge back rower, I kind of want the trajectory to be going in the right direction as opposed to with Gus Crichton. He's sort of at the back end of his career. It's kind of moving in the wrong direction. But then you add in the fact that the halves have improved so much and the attacking upside could potentially be there. Do you love this pick? Do you hate this pick? Are you up in the air on this pick? Where do you sit here, Turtles?
Like I said earlier, if I had to pick a player in here, out of the forward pack, it would probably be Gus Crichton. Second would probably be Blake Steep. So Blake Steep, just because of the value, be starting at lock. But Gus Crichton, like I said, I expect him to get 80 minutes here. I don't think there's going to be much variation between even the two benched second rowers who can come in and take his spot. I do like that he will be outside Daly Cherry Evans. So Daly Cherry Evans actually is a pretty decent defender. So I don't expect their number 6 to be falling off tackles and then Angus Crichton trying to clean it up and then also collecting a whole bunch of missed tackles. They both can hold their own, and when they tackle together, it should be good, should add up. He should get his base. Throw in the fact that Daly Cherry Evans does create opportunities, and now we get to see him at 6 with his running game. This can go two ways. He could go sticky hands, start running the ball a whole bunch more, so then Crichton doesn't get any ball. Or he can use his big brain and try to use the weapons around him. And there's a lot of decent weapons on this Roosters side. So I feel like Daly Cherry Evans is going to be looking to use the players around him. And Gus Crichton is the first person next to him.
Yeah, these guys are both great playmakers too. And I think DCE and Sam Walker, they're going to pop up on both sides. We've seen both of them support very productive attacking seasons from back rowers. So, yeah, for Gus, last year I had Gus. He came into last year priced at I think it was like a 45, something like that, like in the 40s there. He was averaging about 56 at one point. And I sold him, and through Origin, he was okay. Back end of the season, he really fell off, though. That was the thing for Gus. The scores really dropped off. But, yeah, the upgrade in the halves, Sandon Smith last year was just not feeding him much ball at all. So it was a real struggle last year. Sandon's obviously a great runner of the ball, but that didn't feed Crichton. Nathan Beach mentions it too. Sam Walker loves Gus Crichton close to the line. He will get points. Well, if you say so, Nathan, then I'll tell you what, I'll remember you when he scores the try this week. I actually think Gus could potentially score a try and start hot. Shouldn't we have Mrs. Turtles as co-host? Is she playing again this year, mate?
She is playing again this year, but unfortunately she doesn't finish work until much later. So I finished, as a teacher, I finished quite early, so we were able to record this, but she's still at work now.
And mate, you start this job. I've copied you, by the way. I got the Misso playing as well. She's got Kalen Ponga on her side. I couldn't talk her into Braddon Best. She's got Ryan Couchman. Obviously, Chester, Setu, these types of guys. She has Atkinson straight up starting. Like, she's just absolutely nailed it. And her team is so much better than mine. It's actually
so much better. If you pick Atkinson instead of Brown, you're way better. If you pick Ponga instead of Drinkwater, you're way ahead. Way ahead. Miles ahead.
Dude, legit. Yeah, she's going to crush me. She's ranked like 5,000 right now, and I'm like 80,000th at the moment. But, we're 2 games in. It's all good. Yaste mentions choosing fantasy players that are fun to watch. I actually think this is a really important thing as well. Every now and then you want to make some of those fun picks. Now, Sam Walker, he's been asked about a lot in the comments here. He's an interesting one because they were talking about this Roosters halves pairing each week, kind of switching who's dominant, changing things up. There's obviously Tedesco there as well as a very strong playmaker. There's a real scenario where we see sort of different base stats each week from these halves, right? And we saw in the trial game that Sam Walker was that dominant half, but everything the coach has said indicates that Trey Evans is going to have those games too. For me, I'm not hopping on Sam Walker, but I'm fully prepared for the fact that he might come out and score 70 in round 1. I'm not going to change my mind. I just think there's too many chefs in the kitchen here for Sam Walker. I do think it's his team, but I don't know. There's just so many options at half, right? And you love that. I love that role for Atkinson. Like, he's one I want to target next week. And, Adam Dewey's obviously an option. We've got Sanders, so cheap. I'm going to stick with Dylan Brown and hope that works out. So for me, I've got too many halves already. How do you feel about Sam Walker, though?
I feel like you're spot on here. Like, Sam Walker has the potential to go absolutely gangbusters in this first game. If Roosters start putting on a score, they have on paper the team to do similar to what the Dolphins did last year and score in the 50s in a normal game. They have so many attacking weapons on this side. You look at the back line, you look at the forward pack. A lot of these players play representative football as well. And later in the year, when we start seeing all their players come back from injury, like Robson or Fiketti come back, I'm not too sure if he's injured or not. But the whole team as a whole looks very, very solid. And there's a lot of attacking weapons. If they keep scoring monster scores, Sam Walker is going to be kicking all those goals. And he's a pretty decent goal kicker at the same time. So add to that, you have Daniel Tupou, who's a giant in the air, Marky Mark on the side. you have so many try assist opportunities, so many easy kick targets for Sam Walker and Daly Cherry Evans. I just like Sam Walker a little bit more than Daly Cherry Evans, purely because of the goal kicking.
Yeah. Sam Walker or Moses?
See, this is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So I feel like the split of the role between Daly Cherry Evans and Sam Walker will be more 50-50. Whereas with Moses, I feel like he will demand the ball a little bit more than Peasant. So it might be a 65 to 70% split to 30% for Peasant. Whereas Sam Walker, Daly Cherry Evans, it might be closer to 50% each way or 55%.
Yeah, we've got a few people commenting Moses all day. I like Moses too, but I think Peasant's going to have too much of a role for Moses. And Moses kind of needs to be that fully dominant half. They both have had injuries, but Moses has really struggled with injuries. And Sam Walker was lightning in that trial. He was lights out. Whereas I think if Parramatta are getting up early and that kind of thing, then yeah, no Josh Adokar as well. I think that's actually a factor for Moses. So you look at Moses last year when he did play. A lot of his play was early ball to Adokar, just giving Adokar that little half break, and Adokar was converting those plays. Without him, Sean Russell has been playing good, but he's no Josh Adokar. So I'm leaning towards Sam Walker at this stage for me. A lot of people are asking about Isaiah Papali'i as well. We're not up to the Panthers yet, unless they're next. Here we are. Yeah, cool. So for Isaiah Papali'i, he was only interesting to us as a starting edge back rower. So all of it's out the window if he's not starting in the edge back row. And they've gone Scott Sorensen and Luke Garner. One of the most insane decisions I've ever seen. I have no idea what Isaiah Papali'i's done wrong to warrant his demotion. Why does he stay at Penrith? Like, go to another club, man. Be an 80-minute back rower. Like he was a demon at Parramatta. He was a monster. So Isaiah Papali'i's got to go. But we'll get to the Panthers in a sec. Let's go Broncos here first. Your Brisbane Broncos, mate. Reece Walsh at fullback. He's in a lot of fantasy sides. We got Josiah Karapani, Staggs, Shibasaki, and Mariner in the back line. Ezra Mam, Adam Reynolds in the halves. Forward pack is Corey Jensen, Corey Pegs, and Payne Haas in the front row. Back row is Jezewski, Ricky, and Carrigan. Then on the interchange, Ben Hunt coming into hooker, Willison, Tolti, Oblix, Taufa, and then we have Grant Anderson, Jesse Arthurs as cover there. My thoughts on the rotation, pretty straightforward here. Ben Hunt's playing hooker, mixing with Corey Pegs. We've got Willison playing front row. He'll probably share about 80 minutes with Corey Jensen. You got Ben Tolti probably spelling Payne Haas, I would say. So maybe 20 minutes for Tolti, 60 for Haas kind of deal. And then Oblix Taufa is going to come on in the back row. My assumption would be for Jezewski. So pretty straightforward bench rotation here. Turtles, Broncos fan, you're still riding high. Obviously, you lost the World Club Challenge. That's the one negative I can say to you. But does Reece Walsh have a place in your team? And did you ever doubt that place if you did pick him?
He does have a place in my team at the moment. Never a doubt with Reece Walsh. If you're looking at their playmakers, Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds, Reynolds can score reliably on fantasy every now and again, but it's not very consistent. Ezra Mam has historically been very bad on fantasy as a scorer. And now that we've seen what Reece Walsh can do, what he did in the last year, what he did during the World Cup, it's pretty obvious that he's going to be highly involved in the Broncos attack. And whether it be trying to come back from deficit while throwing random plays and high risk, high reward, sometimes those plays end up being 15-point plays. He might make a couple of tackle breaks, a line break, offload into a try assist. Like, that could all happen in one play with Reece Walsh. He has the potential to go absolutely gangbusters. He's one of the very few players who can score 90 to 100 plus. I like him. He's going to be in my team.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. Big thing that changed my mind this year was in that World Club Challenge. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that comment up there, by the way. You are getting a lot of love, 15 out of 10. But in that World Club Challenge, things didn't go right for Walsh, right? He dropped a few crucial balls. He let in a few tries. He made some mistakes. They'd lose that game. He never went back into his shell, though. Like, he never stopped trying. He was totally relentless. And if he throws himself at the game like that and he's fully fit, which he is right now, then he's going to score a bunch of points, right? So I think there's potential for a 60-plus average over the first month here. So Walsh came right into my side. I feel like he's not a must-have because there is risk, right? Round 2 last year, he scored -1. So there's a disclaimer. But for me, ever since World Club Challenge, I haven't doubted him either. So, yeah, locked in there. Walsh score prediction. Let's open this up. Everyone, drop a comment in. And sick, we have 1,100 people in here. That's awesome. Drop a comment. What do you think Walsh is going to score this week? Drop a comment in the stream. I'll pop some of these up. We'll talk about those in a sec. Now, we're getting asked a lot about Shibasaki. Obviously, Dr. J in the Discord, he loves Shibasaki. I can't remember exactly what our bet is, but we've got a bet. I think it's Toya versus Shibasaki. I think it's $200. I've got it written down somewhere. I'm back in Toya. He's back in Shibasaki. Personally, I don't love the Shibasaki pick. He was top 3 in the game last year in line breaks. He was an attacking monster. I just feel like he kind of capped out, right? And unless you're going to get more work out of him, which, he scored a double in that World Club Challenge. He scored 60 plus. I just don't see the base stats elevating in a way that's going to justify the price increase. So at $560K for me, Shibasaki's not one I'm jumping onto, but if someone likes that pod and they're thinking, you know what, the Broncos are going to start hot this year, they're going to go to that edge bunch, then I'm not going to talk you out of it. Do you think it's crazy, or do you think this one's worth considering?
If I had to pick between Toya and Shibasaki, I'll probably lean towards Toya. Purely because Toya has really high base. He's great defense work rate. What you're looking for in Toya is that uptick in attack. The Roosters have a better side this year. I expect that upside coming through. Broncos is still the Broncos. Not too much has changed with this team. He does heavily rely on the attacking stats. Will we see an increase in his work rate in defense? I don't really think so. So I think it's easier for Toya to end up taking the next step forward.
Yeah, 3 tries, 7 tries in 21 games for Toya last year. We're getting a lot of questions, by the way, about Josevski.
Avoid.
Yeah, Yoda's Scrap mentioned avoid Gozzy like the plague. Yeah, I think there's a few first-time players seeing starting back row on a great Broncos side and thinking, oh, Josevski, we've been there before. You've heard this song before. It's not a good song. You're going to turn it off 10 minutes in. Just don't do it. A lot of people mentioning too, Turtles, that teams can change at kickoff. Isaiah Papali'i might come into the starting team at kickoff, blah, blah, blah. For me, with Liam Martin out till round 2 or round 3, if he's coming in at kickoff, it's still too messy. I would avoid Isaiah Papali'i personally. IPAP to Stefano or Hopgood. Turtles will tell you Stefano, I'll tell you Hopgood. So that doesn't really help you too much. How many minutes do you reckon Tallis? We'll talk about Tallis. Tallis Duncan, obviously, actually, I haven't confirmed it, but the mail was that he's not starting. So I think that's going to be the case. Other than that, for the Broncos, it looks like, just see if there's any other questions here for Brisbane. Actually, we got a bunch of the guesses here. So Reece Walsh guesses. These are big scores. 76, 72, 103. Walsh feeding Shibs. 70, 69, 49, 69, 1, 48, 2, 70, 67, 67, 3, 90. And Jay's coming with 4, 5, 6, 67. It looks like the consensus is about 65 to 70 points here. So, yeah, look, if you think that's the case, guys, he's priced at a 51. Like, this is where I sort of looked at his numbers and just went, we'll finish on Zach O'Malley saying $1 million. But I looked at his numbers, just the 51 price point is very tantalizing because he's priced very similar to a lot of players who like he's priced the same as Scott Drinkwater, for example, or these types of players. And I just think he's a tier above those guys, even if Breaking Sydney thinks he's scoring -4, Mitch thinks he's scoring -3, Zed -2. You know, there's a few doubters in here as well. My prediction, by the way, would be in this game, I think it's going to be a game where he has some attack. I think he's going to have some mistakes as well. Penrith obviously put a bit of pressure on. If these are the Penrith edges, no Liam Martin, no Isaiah Papali'i, I think Scott Sorensen and Luke Garner both get cooked by Reece Walsh. I hope that Penrith suffer as a result of screwing me out of Isaiah Papali'i. So I'm going to say a cheeky 72 for Reece Walsh to start. Where are you sitting, Turtles?
A modest 83.
A modest 83.
Modest 83.
Come on.
Because look, usually first game, sometimes teams who win the grand final struggle in their first game because they're sitting on their high horse. But I feel like losing that World Cup challenge has been a reminder to the Broncos, yeah, we still have to put in the work to win our games. Now we're playing the Panthers, who kind of are one of our main contenders, but we're also playing them at Suncorp. I think this game is going to be sold out. The atmosphere is going to be very high. All eyes on Reece Walsh. I do expect him to do a couple of really high risk, high reward plays, but I feel like the high rewards end up paying up more than the high risk. So if he makes an error or penalty, whatever, -2 points. The rewards are he takes one big run, breaks through a couple of tackles, offloads and gets his try assist, suddenly it's 15 points. It's going to balance out in a positive way.
Bro, I've got a shout out here too. Fair money has been added to the game. So there we go. It's a moment. 4:50 p.m. time of arrival. This could be something good. He looks like a tackle busting machine. He could be something special. So yeah, you want to get fair money into your team. Can someone let me know if he's dual position or not? Because he'll obviously get the wing fullback spot, but he's played center and reserves almost exclusively. So let me know if he's wing fullback center dual. That could be really cool to see. Now, Payne Haas. There's been no questions about Payne Haas that I've seen here, which is, here we go, by the way, no dual position. Yeah. Okay, that's I predicted that because they've been a bit harsh. Thank you, like 40 people for answering that. That's awesome. But I've been predicting that because they have been very harsh. So they made Atkinson 450K. You know, they've increased the price of Pez at these types of guys. They've reduced dual positions. They've made the game a little bit tougher this year. So fair money only getting fullback is probably to be expected. Not the worst thing in the world. You can have that loophole with him and, you know, Setu as two guys that you're trying to play with on the edge of your bench there. But for Payne Haas here, obviously we've locked in captains. So if you have Payne Haas, you probably have him as your captain. If you don't, you probably have Cleary as your captain. Now, I've seen a couple of teams that have run the Payne Haas anti-pod with just Cleary. You know, we talked about that strategy last week as well as one that would be fun. I didn't have the balls to do it. I'm assuming you didn't either.
No, but the Misso did.
Oh, same.
Missos do. They don't have the balls, literally.
Bro, we talked them into it, but yeah, they're just living our impulses here. But yeah, it could be a strategy, right? But I think the fact that he played 80 minutes in that World Club Challenge, right? If they were preserving Payne Haas, they wouldn't play him 80 minutes in World Club Challenge, even with the Corey Jensen HIA. I think that's a great indicator. So yeah, for Payne Haas, I think he's going to be rock solid. But there's every world that, you know, don't be shocked if Nathan Cleary comes out and outscores him. Like those two are right there with each other. I feel like there's a consensus that Haas is like up here and Cleary's sort of down here. They're both 70 guys. Like they're going to be very similar. It's going to go different ways each week. We've seen Cleary dominate the Broncos before. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, Carrigan? Do you have any love for Carrigan?
No. Unless Haas is injured, I have no love for Carrigan.
Yeah, fair shout. I feel the same way. I've seen him mentioned a few times. So I just thought I'd ask you. Now, Panthers side of the ball. Dylan Edwards at fullback. We've got Alamotti, Tungo, McLean, To'o in the back line. We're looking at Blaze Talangi and Cleary in the halves. Forward pack is Moses Leota, Mitch Kenny, and Lindsay Smith in the front row. Back row. No Isaiah Papali. It's Scott Sorensen and Luke Garner in the back row with Isaiah Yeo at lock. Interchange is Jack Cogger, Liram Patea, Isaiah Papali, Kalani. Is it going? Is it pronounced going? I mean, it seems that way. Tom Jenkins and Freddie Lussick there cover for the back line and hooker. So it's probably going to be Jack Cogger is probably just cover as well, to be honest. So you're looking at Liram Patea playing some middle forward minutes. I think Going is more of a middle forward as well, from memory. Isaiah Papali, I'm assuming he plays a bit more middle as well. Probably gives Sorensen a rest. Potentially means Luke Garner starts and plays 80 minutes. There is a chance that Papali comes in and starts. It doesn't change anything for me. If at the last minute we see Papali'i starting in the back row, it's too scary. It's too messy. Like him playing bench middle forward is the risk that it goes back to again the following week. You just don't want a part of it. Are you in the same boat there, Turtles?
Yeah, I currently have Isaiah Papali'i in my team, and then we started recording. The team list came out. I haven't changed it yet, but he's definitely out of my team.
Yeah,
it's too dicey.
Also, we got a few comments. Sick backdrop. Yeah, we're building the studio as we speak. So. The lighting setup isn't there. There's going to be jerseys behind me as well. So I've been screwing all that on today, but that's coming soon. Big questions about McLean. Is McLean a trap or CC? A lot of people are asking about McLean here. We'll leave last name at 6619 up there, or Nissan GTR fan, potentially. Nissan sponsor us, by the way. For McLean, I'll ask you first, Turtles. What do you think about Casey McLean? Do you see a world where he can improve? Like, what needs to happen for him to sort of step up from that 37 average?
The thing is, what I want to see from him as a center is his defensive work rate to increase. We already know that he's a bit of a sticky hands. He grabs the ball. He runs it himself. He is damaging an attack. He already has that. And he's in a good side where that attack will come. What we need to see is the defensive work rate go up. That means not only making more tackles, but looking to tackle, but also stop falling off tackles, essentially. So more often than not, centers are one of the hardest defensive positions. They get caught out one-on-one a lot. That means a lot of missed tackles. So I want to see his defensive work rate increase. We've seen defensive work rates go really well with some centers like Chester already. If you can make 20 to 30 tackles as a center, you've done your job. Right? Add in your work rate with your attacking stats and your ball running, the rest will come naturally. He already has the running and offense side. I need to see that defense increase for McLean.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of people asking too, McLean versus Toya. Way on the Toya side of the ball. McLean scored nearly a try a game last year. He has to repeat that, just average 37. We saw in the international games, he had 3 games. 2 of them he scored a double, 1 he scored a single. His scores were 52, 53, and 42, or something like that. So 5 tries in 3 games, and you're looking at like a 40s average. It's just no good.
What if you had to compare him between someone closer to his price point, like Will Penasini? Will Penasini versus McLean, who would you pick?
Oh, God, I wouldn't want either. I would say, but the gap is about the same there. So Penasini is about 5 points cheaper than McLean.
All right, yeah.
Toya is about 5 points more expensive. I would probably go Penasini, just because he's averaged 42 before. Parramatta looking better. I don't like Penasini, by the way, because he's 400K and you need to start him in your team every week. And I'd rather just start guys like Chester and those types of guys. Yeah. So I think that area of center is a bit of a death trap because none of them have that real keeper upside. So you might as well just go cheap. I'll mention a few other guys here too. Isaiah Yeo. I'm going to say it once. Isaiah Yeo is, you buy him and you get what you paid for, maybe a little bit more. He's priced at a 58. He could maybe average in the 60s if you get lucky there. But yeah, that's a safe option. If you want to take Yo, do it. If you don't want to take Yo, don't. It's just a question of whether you want to go for value. Cleary, great option. Brian Tor, we'll mention him as well. He's one that looked super fit in the trials. My read on him is he's priced at about a 41 this year. His best years have been high 40s. So he's not really got that 50 upside from the past. But he did look fit. He looked fast. He looked like that knee injury from last year wasn't hampering him. So I think he is value. Just I don't know if it's enough. I don't know if it's enough value to justify jumping on him. Where do you sit in this one, Turtles?
If I had to pick between the 2 wingers, I'll probably pick Alamotti here.
Ooh, spicy.
Just because he has that one. He has the dual position. 2, he's outside Tago instead of McLean. I've already mentioned McLean's a bit of a ball hog. If he gets the ball, he's not passing it. So I don't know if Brian Toll will receive much ball, whether the only ways he will get it is either through a kick or a cutout ball. If it goes to McLean, he's not passing it. That's how I see it. Tago is a bit of more of a team player, so he'll actually pass it off to Alamotti. Both of them have similar work rates. They both run the ball heaps. They both put their hands up to do that dirty work. Yep. So that dual position for Alamotti, it makes it a little bit more enticing for me.
Yep. Zilla mentioned as well. Playing outside McLean, not going to pass. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah. And Niggin too. Alamotti playing outside of Tungo, safer pick. Yeah, fair shout. I mean, look, the other option is that maybe Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, these guys do feed him with a long ball. There's going to be plenty of tries scored by To'o. I think that To'o is going to start hot. I think he's going 50 plus in this game. I think it's going to be a really good game, this one. But I think To'o is going to be big in this one. Last one I'm going to mention it to Isaiah Papali'i. Sell him from your teams. He is on the bench. He was only a buy in the starting side. And thoughts on Tungo? Man, everyone's asking about everyone. But Tungo, too disappointing, man. Like, I've had Tungo on my watch list for so long. Like, and he's just never sort of shown signs of life. So, yeah, no go for Tungo. I'm not even going to give you right a reply there, Turtles. We're just rolling through. Sharkies v Titans here. And for the Sharks, I'm going to read a list. I'm going to ask you who stands out for you as a fantasy bona fide super gun. And you're going to say Nico Hines. Sharkies here. We got Kennedy at fullback, Katoa, Ramian, Ero, Stone Street in the back line, Trindle and Hines in the halves. Forward pack is AFB, Blake Brayley, Tom Hazleton in the front row. We have Nakora, Billy Burns takes a spot, and Jesse Colhoun in the back row. Talakai, Rudolph, Kafusi, Uele. Then we have Puru Valea. How long is Teague Wilton out for? That's
not sure.
Yeah, I'm going to look that up. But I want to ask you first, who stands out for you in this Sharks team? Who are you sort of eyeing off here?
Who stands out for me and why is it Nico Hines? I think it's because his hair is very wet and he's looking to improve on the Sharks. The Sharks didn't really recruit too much this year. They haven't gone out and gotten a new marquee signing like they did last year where they bought Adam Fanua Blake. similar to my theory about Galvin and having that extra time with the team, building those synergies between different players, I feel like that's going to improve. The Sharks have a very respectable forward pack, and with the surgence of Blake Brayley last year and his running game, you can see that they expect their forwards to actually do damage. Adam Fanua-Blake is going to be leading that pack, and after they do all their damage, the forwards, now you have Nico Hines in the back doing what he does best. What I liked seeing during the preseason was Nico Hines. Basically, his ball running was off the charts, right? He looked to run the ball essentially every single time he touched it. He wasn't looking to pass. He wasn't looking to kick. He wanted to run the ball. With that, he gets his offloads. He gets his tackle breaks. And like I said earlier, I like my halves to have a little bit more of a defensive work rate as well, because I don't want them to falling off tackles, because that's just all negatives. Nico Hines is a great defender. He will lock in 30-plus tackles a week, and I think he's the bona fide keeper.
Friar Terry just mentioned, hail the king. Nico Hines hasn't left my side once. So he agrees with you, Turtles. I'm with you too. I think this Titans matchup to start is fantastic as well. And look, no Jaden Campbell for them. Campbell's not a defensive juggernaut, but I think the depression at the club, when they rock up without Jaden Campbell creating for him, is going to be, I don't know. I was already backing the Sharks to win this one big. So, yeah, I think they're really going to put a score on the Titans, which is tough for the Titans to start. Yeah, Nico Hines is a good shout there. You know who's interesting? And it's not going to be long enough. But if you're in a draft league, Billy Burns is very interesting. So Teague Wilton, round 3 return. Billy Burns, I'm putting it on record right now. I think he has a monster of a game in this one. He has the Panthers next week. Because I was looking at it, and he's back round 3, and I was thinking if it's 2 easy matchups, I actually might consider a cheeky Billy Burns dice roll, and then, you just move across to whoever you need to move to. But, yeah, Panthers next week's too tough. Other than that, there's a few guys to talk about here. So Jesse Ramian, Kale Iro are both guys that people are considering at center. You've got Adam Fanua-Blake, who's in the Missos team. So considering how well she's going so far, he's going to score a double in this one. Blake Brayley is potentially the top hooker in fantasy this year, and Jesse Colquhoun. Now, for Colquhoun, it's probably the first question is, what's the bench rotation? So Talakai is a middle forward. Rudolph, a middle forward. Who can play lock? Kafusi and ULA are both playing in the prop rotation. And then you've got Puru, who's also, I always mix them up. I think it might be the Puru who's a middle forward, but it might be the Puru who's a half. And then Valia. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of middle forward minutes coming off the bench here. AFB is going to play probably 55 minutes. So I'm not seriously recommending him unless you think the attacking upside's there. Hazleton, probably more like 40 minutes. So he'll go half and half with Oregon Kafusi. Yeah, for Colquhoun, I think he gets a rest. I think he gets a good rest. I think he plays about 50 minutes. Probably translates to about 40 points. At about 350K, he's value. He's been in versions of my side. I'm leaning towards Steep over Colquhoun, though, just because for Colquhoun, he's there because there's an injury to McInnes and he's kind of stepping in. But he's not significantly better than anyone else on the bench there. Whereas for Blake Steep, he's taking the lock spot because he's an up-and-coming superstar who they rate. And the talent's just going to get more and more minutes as it goes along. So I'm going Steep over Colquhoun. Are you in the same boat there?
I feel like if you don't have Ryan Couchman like me and you want to take a gamble on a player, Steep is the man to do that. I feel like Jesse Colquhoun, because McInnes is out for a bit longer, he's going to lock in that spot. He's in the high 300s at the moment for price range. He can easily just, end up at 500, 550, 600K over the next 6 weeks. I feel like that's very, very plausible for him. At lock, even if he gets 60 minutes, I'm expecting 50 pluses from that. The only issue is against the Titans with a full Sharks pack, except for 2 injuries. I feel like they're going to feast, and I don't think there's going to be that much tackles on offer for the Sharks here. So Colquhoun does not have that attacking work rate. You don't see him breaking through too many tackles. He might get 1 or 2 tackle breaks, but don't expect 5 or more.
Yeah, I'm with you there. He's a bit Hayden Tolman-ish, so it's going to be a bit tricky. I think he's still a good option, but if we had 25-man squads, I'd probably have Jesse Colquhoun in my team. But with a 21-man squad, you need the cash for now. Darth Trader's asked, is Colquhoun a must? Not a must, but if he fits your team well, you can have him. If I was building 10 teams, he'd be in probably 2 of them, I would say. Like that's sort of how I feel about him. everyone jumping on Ilias. So Jaden Campbell, by the way, guys, you might have seen on Instagram. I shared it there first. The news is 2 to 4 weeks hamstring issue. Not a good injury to have, the hamstring at the start of the year. So Jaden Campbell's going to be on my avoid list for quite a while now. Stan Stone Street, 75 points. I'm not even going to talk about him. But for the rest of this team, Rami and Iro, right? Which one of these guys appeals more to you, Turtles?
In the preseason, I was very, very high on Iro. I thought he could potentially take that next step up, get closer to the god of Herbie. But Ramian, during the preseason, definitely outshined Iro. Ramian put his hand up a lot more. We saw the running game from Hines on that right side a lot more. And the support player was Ramian at most times. So if Nico Hines is running the ball more, and then he does that quick short pass to Ramian, with also Nikora sitting on the right side as well, I feel like they're going to get more involved in their attack, more involved at least in their running game, and not having to rely on just tries. There's going to be line breaks, tackles, and offloads that come through this. If what we saw in preseason repeats itself during this game. And I think they're going to feast here. They're versing a very undermanned Titans side. They're already riddled by a fair bit of injuries. So I feel like I'm leaning towards Radiant. He's also significantly cheaper.
Yeah, bro, you've nailed that. And he's been that 40-plus average in the past. I think he's priced at 36 or 37 this year.
Yeah.
A few people asked about him too. Toby, that's your answer. We like Ramian in that price range. I like him better than Penasini, and I like him better than McLean. I just like the violence that he plays the game with, and that leads to points. It leads to injuries and that kind of thing as well, but it leads to points. Nakora on the same edge. It's the same answer. If you're backing the Nico Hines story there, you can go for Nakora too. The difference for me is Ramian's in a tough position at center where you kind of have to force it. Nakora's at a very easy edge back row spot where you don't. So Nakora priced at a 43. He's been a 50-plus guy in the past. You could say there's about 8 points of value there. I think there's better options in the back row, but he is a fun pod. And if I was making 100 teams, he'd be in one of them. That's kind of how I feel about him. Walsh and Steep, or Stefano and Cobbo. We'll go through these more later, guys. So we'll do this, we'll do all the games, and we'll do the specific questions at the end. But I'll answer this one right now. I'd go Walsh and Steep, and I'm probably going to go Walsh and Steep in my side. Keep it by as well. We'll jump across, actually, because I think that's the play. I will just mention Iro briefly, because you mentioned him there. He's been that. So last year, he's about a 52 average when he played full games. He's priced at a 49. The big thing you're looking for from Iro is offloads this year. That's the thing that's going to improve his numbers. Basically, nothing else can really improve. If he can offload a bunch, it's going to be good. I didn't really see too many indicators of it. So personally, I think he's going to go massive in round one. He's going to be awesome. But I'm not really buying into massive value there. Unless you think the Sharks are going to be dominant, which I do think the Sharks are going to start hot. So Iro is a good option. He's not like a must-have or anything like that. But if you like Iro and you like the Sharks, and you think Nico Hines and their team is going to be good, then jump on. Blake Brayley, nothing's changed about him. He is on a good trajectory. So he's been that 45 guy in the past, jumped to a 52 last year. If you think the Sharks are going to be good and he's going to run the ball, he's a good option too. But we talked about him so much. Let's jump to the Titans here, because this is an interesting one. No Jaden Campbell here. So we got Keanu Keeney at fullback. Backline is Fayamani steps in. He's only wing fullback eligible. He has been added to fantasy. So add Fayamani into your team right now. Jojo Fida, Max Fenai, Phil Sami in the backline. Brimson and Ilias in the halves. Forward pack is Fodawaker, Verrills, Big Tino in the front row. We've got Howe, Firma, and Randall in the back row. No Padston. Curtis Morin, Simpkins, Cleese Haas, and Cooper Bye on the bench. And then Luke Summerton, he's back up at hooker. And Zane Harrison in jersey 19, who's back up at half. Josh Padston is sitting there in jersey 22. You see how far I had to scroll? I can't even see the fullbacks anymore. That's how far we had to go down to find Josh Padston. That is one of the all-time teasers. Bro, I've been saying for a while, I just don't trust Josh Padston. I can't tell you what it is, but he hasn't popped off the page. He's out. Easy sell. That's an easy play. Does anything in this Titans team jump out at you, though? Like, is there anyone that you're definitely bringing in or think people should look at?
Maybe Tino. I think Tino, looking at this forward pack, looking at this bench, I expect Tino to get decent minutes here. Even though he's transitioned from lock to prop, I still expect him, I'm going to say 60 minutes here, which is probably 5 minutes more than you'll get out of, like, let's say, Adam Fanua-Blake or Stefano Ikamano. That extra 5 minutes might translate to an extra 6 to 7 points very easily with a big player like Tino, where he gets a lot of offloads and tackle breaks. just one extra run, he could easily get that extra 5 to 6 points. So Tino stands out for me. The only problem is we're a little bit congested in our forwards at the moment. I feel like we have a whole bunch of halves, a whole bunch of edges, and a whole bunch of middles. And we only have a certain amount of selections that we can choose from. It's going to be tough to try fit Tino in. I think he's around mid 600K at the moment.
Yeah.
I can see him rising up. He has been there before. He has gone into the 700s. You're not probably going to earn too much more than that. I don't think he's going to earn more than 200K.
Yeah, I don't know. 668K is his price. Price at a 52. I think he's like a 58 this year. So I would say he's 6 points of value. He's a keeper. He's a guy that's in my team right now, Big Tino. So, yeah, as of today, look, it's not locked in that way, but it could stay that way. I'm going to do the Rob as well. That's Aramu Howe right there. There he is. He's 250K. Yeah. So, yeah, I hadn't even really been thinking about him in preseason, but I'm going to have to review the numbers on Aramu Howe. At this stage, it's not a bad bench. So if you look at this bench here, Curtis Morin played great in the trials, by the way. I think he's earned some minutes here. He's more of a small lock type that they brought across from the Dogs. You've got Simpkins there, who's a smaller minutes prop. Cleese Haas has been playing prop all preseason. He's sort of transitioned across. And Cooper Bai is more of a lock prop there as well. So it's all middle forwards. And you've got Summerton and Harrison, who are probably not going to be used too much. So I would say, in general, someone has to move to the edge. It's probably Cleese Haas, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe Aramu Howe plays big minutes here. Because Fodawaker and Tino, they're both relatively big minute middle forwards. Chris Randall can absorb some minutes too. I'm not really sure what they do with their rotations here.
It might be Cooper Bai. This could also be a short-term play. Like Patterson did have a HIA during the preseason. Maybe he hasn't recovered fully from those concussion protocols or whatever, even though it's been more than 10 days. I was expecting him to be named today, but if the symptoms are lingering, then they probably wanted to rest him a little bit longer. So it's a bit dicey. The job security is not guaranteed here. Just keep that in mind moving forward. Yeah,
well, look at the numbers too, because if the reserve grade numbers are good for Howe, then, again, we have trades we can make for cheapies. If you don't have Ryan Couchman, blah, 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 whatever it is there, Howe is one that you could take a gamble on if you want to. I've got to check out the numbers though on Rezzies because I don't love the bench. Cooper Bai is an interesting one. And I've seen this question about 4 times, is Cooper Bai going to do a Ryan Couchman? I want it to happen, which makes me think it's not going to happen. So, I mean, Cooper Bai, he's great. So reserve grade numbers, he's a 52 average in 58 minutes. By the way, we just hit a PB for numbers here. We went over 1,300 people. Ooh, nice. So thank you everyone for jumping on. Also, 20K subscribers on YouTube this week. It's been a good week, man. Fantasy's back. But yeah, for Cooper Bai, I would say, those numbers in Rezzies are good. He can absorb some minutes. He's looked good when he's played. I think the Titans are going to need him to be good. And I don't think Simpkins really jumps off the page. I think Cleese Haas, he's earned some minutes here. Curtis Morin, bit of a smaller middle forward, maybe plays a bit of lock there. So I think Cooper Bai is going to get his minutes. He's a guy who is currently in my team. There's no guarantee he stays there, but the PPM is good. I view him as kind of similar to Ryan Couchman, probably a little less developed. I think Ryan Couchman's about a year ahead. But Cooper Bai is a guy they tried to keep. So for me, I like him, but I wouldn't break my team to go get him. I'm assuming you're kind of in the same camp there.
I feel like Cooper Bai, at some stage, the Titans are going to suffer a couple more injuries, and Cooper Bai is going to work his way into the starting team. This is very easily seen. If Sam Verrills goes down for a little bit, Randall moves to hooker, Cooper Bai is going to be the lock. And I feel like if you start with him, you're going to have to hold him for a while because I do expect it to be a bit of a slow burn. But the talent is there. We've seen it in his reserve grade stats. If you'll start with him, hold him. It's going to be a slow burn.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Bit of a slow burn. Fair money. No way he starts against the Sharks. I think that you do not want to start fair money. And I felt the same way about Setu too, full disclosure. He was on about 9 points with 20 minutes to go and then scored that try and, bumped his score up. And then went off in the 69th minute with cramps anyway. But, yeah, for fair money, it's going to be a consolation try if he does score one. I would avoid starting him this week. Just on balance probability, you're backing the Sharks to win this one. Other than that, for the Titans, we talked about Tino. We talked about, people are interested in Brimson. I personally don't think so. Keanu Keeney is probably the one to have a think about here. I don't love the Keanu King pick. I don't love the lack of Jaden Campbell. I think Brimson and Ilias is a combination. They're not ready to run. Like, they haven't been training that all preseason, so it's going to be a bit messy. Keanu Keeney's still a rookie there. He's got a tough Sharks matchup round 1. He's priced at I think it's a 46. He's been like a 49 average when he started and played full minutes at fullback. I just don't think the value's there, and I think the Titans are going to be dodgy. So for me, he's an avoid.
Probably the same for me. With my wing fullbacks, I'm looking for absolute boom or bust. So Reece Walsh kind of esque, maybe like Kalen Ponga, Drinky. All of them have incredible attacking upside. Keeney gets a lot of his points through base work. He has a lot of tackle breaks. He runs a good ball. He gets involved, but he doesn't score too many tries. And the fact that he's on the Titans without Jaden Campbell makes this a lot worse. So I don't think there's going to be too many attacking opportunities for him, which will bump him up to be able to compete with the more elite tier wing fullback. So it's a no from me from Keeney.
Yeah, people are saying fade Keeney for Fairlongo, that kind of thing. I'm agreeing with that completely. Question here, Fayamani or Leo from the Storm? I think they're both relatively average in terms of reserve grade scoring. I need to do the comparison properly this week. But Fayamani is like a 30 average in reserve grade, limited sample size. Leo, I think, is actually a little bit worse than that. But I just like the Storm team better than I like the Titans team, especially without Jaden Campbell. So I'm going to say Leo over Fayamani. In fact, there's a chance that Fayamani doesn't make my side. There is a chance that happens, which is crazy considering we've been sort of counting on him all along. But Setu too looked fine. Chester, he scored well, but I don't believe in the job security. So it's going to be a bit messy. Fayamani or Cobbo. We'll talk about Cobbo in that last game. I actually love Cobbo this week. I think Cobbo explodes this week. And then we've been asked a bit about, where is the question? Sorry, guys, Fodawaker. Fodawaker is, I can't find the question for whoever asked it. Oh, here we go. Jai, with the Cam McKenna pick, he asked about Fodawaker. I actually think Fodawaker is some value this year. I think in a draft league, he's very interesting. I don't think he has enough value for your classic team, but Fodawaker thrives when he's in that secondary prop role. So when they have a leader like Tino in the front row and he takes that first tough hit up, Fodawaker's amazing at that second hit up when there's momentum. But when Tino was out, Fodawaker was straight garbage, right? But with Tino, he's one of the better props in the game. Like, it's a really crazy comparison you see with Fodawaker. So I think he's going to play really good footy this year and get himself into Origin. Other than that, yeah, Paxton. Paxton's got to go, guys. Josh Paxton, get him out of your teams. That's an easy play. That's an easy one. I think other than that, for the Titans, is there anything else we want to talk about?
Not unless Bo Firmo gets his dual position back. He's completely irrelevant. I feel like he'll still score relatively well, like we saw last year whenever he played in the second row. It's just he's too overpriced right now. Randall is a bit of a pawn.
Oh, yeah.
We have Randall. He has that dual position with the hooker role. Now that Brandon Smith's out, there's not many other hooker mids available. I think the only other one's probably Connor Watson that comes to mind. But when we got news that Reid Marnie was getting 80 minutes, a lot of people who were on Randall just jumped on Reid Marnie. It was basically a no-brainer. If you're going to get 80 minutes, we don't expect Randall to get probably more than 55 minutes, in my opinion. And Randall is he's not a PPM machine, but he needs the minutes. He definitely needs the minutes. If he does not get any minutes, he's not a crazy impact player. He just does all the work rate stuff. So it was just no-brainer. Just go with Reid Marnie. So I feel like people are kind of off Randall at the moment.
Yeah, this guy's mentioned too, Frosty. Randall won't be going edge either, bench or 9. Pog mentions Howe looks like a trap. He's a 15-minute average player. And I'll thank you, Spider, as well. Spider's mentioned he's gotten 50 people to sub to the channel. So
nice.
That's cracker. Spider, you were the one who got us over 20,000, bro. So thank you very much. Guys, if you do enjoy it, by the way, definitely share with friends. It helps me out a bunch, helps Turtles out a bunch too. Now, ripping through Saturday night, and then we get into I think we've got 2 games left, and then we'll answer some Q&A as well. So for Saturday night, Seagulls v Raiders, the revenge game for Jamal Fogarty. Can he get it done? Tommy Turbo at fullback for Manly. We got Saab, Cooler, Garrick, Hopper-Wadi in the back line, Brooks, Fogarty, and I am waiting for something fantasy relevant. I am not finding it. Forward pack, Paseka, Simpkin, Takiaho in the front row, Olakawatu, Burbo, and Gerbo in the back row. Interchanges Walsh, Hetherington, Bullimore, Nathan Brown. Then we have Falalo and Wakeham covering utility spots off the bench there. So for me, I look at this and I go, all right, Joey Walsh is in that 14 jersey. There's been a lot of talk about him playing hooker. Luke Brooks has already come out and said, hey, when we're down, when we're about to quit, you can move me to hooker if you want to. Like, it's just not looking good for Manly, and I don't really want any part of this team. I think they're going to struggle this year. So for me, I'm kind of fading the whole lot here. But if I was going to give some sort of value, Paseka, maybe slight value as the year goes on, not to start with. Ola Kawatu, some value as the year goes on. Coming back off a major shoulder injury, though, not to start with. Fogarty overpriced right now. Garrick not goal kicking, no good anymore. Tommy Turbo, if he comes back out and he's fully fit, we could do that again. We got him for 400K last year. Any appetite from you? 600K Tommy Turbo?
Imagine Tommy Turbo comes out and just pulls a Ponga and just surprises everyone. Is like, yeah, I'm back in form, boys, and then comes out with like an 80 or 90 score.
Bro,
that would be absolutely devastating. If you start the year and both Tommy Turbo and Ponga both score really high and you didn't have either of them, you're instantly on the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, no one has Turbo, though. It's 600K. You got priced up so much. There's no way. I actually reckon we can kind of slide past Manly. Like, unless there are any questions here. Yeah, look at this. Manly yuck. Just check, lads. Here we go. Tigers for the win. Howe is a 42.5 average in 80 minutes in reserve grade. 21 game stat pool. That's not too bad, actually. Those are pretty good numbers. I just don't love the attacking upside in that spot. But Simpkin hype reel? I don't think so. With Walsh on the bench, I think that's too concerning. And the fact that Brooks is coming out saying he's willing to play hooker to make space for Walsh, that's major disrespect to Simpkin. That's major disrespect to Simpkin. So I personally would avoid Simpkin. He needs the 80 minutes to be worth it. Now, we're all across to the Raiders. That was our fastest team, by the way. I reckon we did that faster than Turbo runs 100 meters. Raiders. KO Weeks at fullback. This one's going to be fast as well because they were all so good last year. The next game, Rabbitohs and Dolphins, by the way, that's a sick fantasy game, but this one's junk. KO Weeks at fullback, Tamale, Sasangi, Chris, and Savage in the back line. Strange and Sanders in the halves. So no Tomoko is interesting. He must be injured. Forward pack, Josh Papali'i, Starling and Tarpanay in the front row. Hudson Young, Noah Martin, and Corey Horsburgh in the back row. Noah Martin's an interesting one. Jaden Brelly, Zach Hosking, Atam Mariota, and Morgan Smithies on the bench with Dane Laurie in a bit of trouble off the field, I might add, and Jed Stewart covering the utility spots here. May Nicholson, Matt Tomoko. Interesting. So Nicholson picked up an injury, a bit of a shouldery sort of thing in the preseason. My guess on this, and I'm going to have to get confirmation. In fact, they might mention it here. Usually they don't. But Noah Martin comes in for his 7th NRL game. Nope, they just mentioned that Noah Martin's coming in. All right. My assumption here is that shoulder injury was a little bit dodgy, and he's playing reserve grade just to get it all going right again before the year starts. I'm assuming that they were set on Zach Hosking being part of the forward rotation. And because this is a short period of time, they didn't want to shake that up. So they're just going, hey, Noah Martin, you can start in that spot. Maybe he's the guy they rate for the future. I do think that Noah Martin, as much as he's at a good price, is probably not going to be someone you start with. It's risky. They just have so many guys. So at this stage, we're going to say no to Noah Martin. We'll do a proper review later. Other than that, for Canberra, Joey Tarpanay started well last year. He's priced at a 57 now. Do you have, Ethan Sanders, Ethan Strange. What's your feeling on the halves pairing here, Turtles?
I'm a little interested to see how Ethan Sanders goes. He's currently not in my team at the moment because I have a whole bunch of halves, but I want to see how the kicking split goes. Does Ethan Strange take any kicking? Because outside of Fogarty is 100% a game manager. So Ethan Strange was just only looking to run or pass the ball. He wasn't really looking to kick. Now that Sanders is in the team, I don't know if they expect Ethan Strange to kind of step up a little bit more and take on some kicks or split some of that with Sanders. Also with Sanders, I don't see him as a really big body and making those tackles. Remember when I was saying earlier, I like seeing my halves making 30 tackles? Well, Ethan Sanders could probably make 30 tackles, but probably miss about 8 of them. So he would net a pretty negative score in that sense. It's interesting to see why Noah Martin is being placed here because we have Zach Hosking and Simi Sasagi who can both play second row very well. And seeing how they're going to be outside of Ethan Sanders, who I've already said is not great in defense, usually you would want to shore up that defensive edge and put someone like a Zach Hosking, who is a great tackler, or Simi Sasagi, who looks to get involved. It's interesting that they chose Noel Martin to fill in this edge spot when, I don't know, someone could have taken the center spot or the bench role very easily. And Noel Martin could have come off the bench as in the forward rotation very easily with Hoskin.
I'm with you, man. It's a surprising call. It's not one I would have made. I'm going to fire some quick fire questions at you from the comments here. If you had to play one, would you play Steep or Sanders this week?
Steep.
I agree wholeheartedly. KO Weeks going to do wonders this season. Do you agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Yep, fair shout. Noah Martin, good pick. No. Turbo and Ponga always start hot. Worth a pod? Question mark.
Maybe.
Ooh, Simi Sasangi. That one's just for you because you had Simi last year. He crushed for you, bro. When you were down the stretch there, he absolutely killed for you. Yeah. And Hamole Olakwatu, top 3 edges here?
Potentially. So in preseason, I was very, very hot on this. And then I figured out why he was injured on the bench. It was basically because, shoulder injury, and those aren't really good to come back from. So I'm a little bit colder at the moment.
Colquhoun or Sanders?
Colquhoun.
Wow. I would go Sanders just for the long-term play there. And goal kicking half. I think he gets it together and averages, 40-odd. G'day from India. We've got a few international viewers coming through. Good to see. I never see India on the metrics. Normally we have at 2% UK, sometimes 1% America. But yeah, thoughts on Steep and Nat Butcher? Both are better than Talis Duncan because he's on the bench. So, yeah, let's roll into that game. You know what? Because we control the stream. That last game was nothing. This game is succulent for fantasy. It is a succulent Chinese meal. Is that a crime, enjoying a succulent Chinese meal? No, it's not. Not right here. All right, Dolphins v. Rabbitohs. This is going to be such a good game. I think it's going to be such a good game, man. I'm actually so pumped for this one. So Dolphins best attack in the comp last year. They named this roster. Hammer at fullback. We've got Asako, Averillo, Farmworth, and Selwyn Cobbo in the back line. Absolutely lethal. Speed to burn there. Cody Nikorima, Isaiah Katoa in the halves. Forward pack is Tom Gilbert, Kurt Donahue at hooker. Tom Flegler gets the start. That is juicy. Conley Lemuelu gets a start. Fenafuyaki and Morgan Knowles at lock there. Schneider, Keeley, Kafusi, and Trey Fuller in jersey 17. Then Sewer and Wolf on the bench there. This is an interesting side for the Dolphins. Now, there's not a lot of minutes on this bench, and there's players missing from this team. Dan Safidi, I think he's dealing with a bit of injury, Dan Safidi. Francis Molo, not sure what's going on with him. They've got Max Plath back pretty soon. They've got Jeremy Marshall-King back pretty soon. Those guys are going to ruin Morgan Knowles, so I'm going to veto Morgan Knowles as a pick in general. But it is interesting for a couple of guys here. So Flegler starting at prop. If he starts and he plays well, there's no point warming him into it later. Like, he's already started and played well. You might as well keep that going. At 500K, that's vaguely interesting. Conley Lemuelu, attacking machine. If he gets the minutes, but Oren Keeley's on the bench there. And then we'll talk about Cobbo and Farmworth a bit as well, and Katoa. I want your opinions here, though. Flegler, Lemuelu, out of 10, how much do you rate each of these picks?
I feel like there's just so many good edges that you can pick from. I feel like Conley Lemuelu is not even on my list at this stage. Flegler is very interesting. He's shown in the past that he can get 50 pluses regularly if he gets the minutes. He is a dominant force in this forward pack. If you're looking at the bench, there's not too many forwards who are going to eat too many minutes off Flegler. I could easily see Flegler pumping 60 minutes in this game, which, like I said, is probably a little bit more than someone like Adam Fanor-Blake. So looking at this bench, he might actually creep up into more minutes because there's not that many forwards on this bench who can take up the forward role. And unfortunately, Tom Gilbert is also quite fit, so he is also expected to get a lot of minutes. So coming back from injury, you're a little hesitant, but after seeing how well he did in the preseason, Flegler looked fit and firing. So it is a bit of a pod, but not for me.
Yeah, the price up to 500K makes it very hard. If he was 400K in my side, like that.
Yeah, easy.
500K, it's a bit messy. If you play Supercoach as well, he's like 300K in Supercoach, so you got to get him over there. But yeah, for fantasy, I think he's going to return value though. But at 500K, you kind of need him to get to like 650K. And that's closer to where like Toby Couchman's priced after last year. Like, you need him to be really good to get there, and it's just not there. Molu suspended, by the way. So for a lot of helpful comments there. Questions going through on Isaiah Katoa. So Katoa versus Walker. Katoa 65 average this year. Anti-Pod Cleary grabbed Katoa. Katoa Walker again. There's a lot of questions about Isaiah Katoa. I'll share some numbers, then I want to get your opinion here, Turtles. But he started his career as a 30 average a few years ago, jumped into the low 40s, and then jumped to 55 last year. Turtles, Isaiah Katoa, do you think he can continue rising? Or do you think at the back end of last year, as he started to cool off, that's a trend that might continue?
This can go one of two ways, right? And yeah, like we said, up or down. But the Dolphins did really well last year. They were the best offense in the entire comp. Now they get most of their forward pack back, even though I said it's not really evident on their bench, but most of them are expected back shortly. You could argue that Isaiah Katoa had to step up because the forward pack was so lacking last year, because you had Flegler injured, because you had Gilbert injured. They relied on their backs more. And you also saw a giant uptick in Herbie Farnworth. He had to put his hand up more to take those runs because the forward pack was not there. They were just there to defend it towards the end of it. So you could argue maybe he doesn't have to step up as much, Isaiah Katoa, or you can argue now that they're on the front foot with their forward pack back, maybe he has more freedom to play. So for me, I'm more of a Nico Hines fan, and they're kind of similar price points. I'm going to go to Nico Hines purely because he kicks goals as well, and I liked what I saw during the preseason with his running game. I need to see it first from Katoa, but at the same time, it might be the one that gets away. Suddenly, he might be 800K and out of reach, and then it'll be too late.
I'm with you on this, man. I've got Hines as well. I just think that massive upside Hines has. Like, Hines can go 120 in a game. I don't think Katoa has that in him. I think he can have a series of 60 to 70-point games, and they're great. I like the upside. We're getting asked the question here too. Does Jack Whiten shut down Herbie Farnworth? It's a very brave question, and it probably leads into the Herbie Farnworth, Selwyn Cobbo conversation that we have to have. Now, Jack Whiten and Campbell Graham on that side. They are on the right side.
Yep.
Cobbo and Farnworth on the left side. So that's the matchup there.
Yep.
I would say that Whiten and Campbell Graham, they're both very physical guys. You're not going to run over them. A little bit slower, a little bit older, a little bit worse at sort of turning around. Whereas the speed of Cobbo that I've seen in the preseason, I think that Farnworth and Cobbo, if they get enough ball, are going to absolutely stir-fry Jack Whiten and Campbell Graham. Like, it's going to be served up on a platter. It's going to be absolutely brutal. And for that reason, it's not the only reason, but for that reason, I'm pretty much locking in Selwyn Cobbo to my starting side this week. Like, I think Cobbo is going to have a massive game. And on the Herbie side, I think Herbie will too, but he's 800K. Like, it's too expensive. Tell me what you think here. Selwyn Cobbo, Herbie Farnworth, where are you sitting on both these boys?
I think Herbie's just a little bit too expensive for me to start the year. And I want to see that how they work in this team. So like I said, their forwards are back now. You've got Flegler and Gilbert back. Does Herbie have to put his hand as much? Maybe not. So also with an attacking weapon like Cobbo on his outside, maybe Herbie doesn't have to run in as much. Usually he runs in, he targets some slow forwards, he gets a couple of tackle breaks, and there's people hanging off him and he gets a cheeky offload. Now that he has a weapon on the left side with Cobbo, maybe he's looking to run down the side a little bit more and then just try to get attacking stats through try assists. I'm not 100% sure how this configuration is going to work. I want to wait and see for both of them. My question to you is, Selwyn Cobbo at just under 500K versus Suafolongo. If you had to pick one, who would you pick?
Oh, I mean, I think they're very similar profiles. So Selwyn Cobbo, when he plays wing, is traditionally like a 40 to 42 average. Suafolongo, when he has played fullback in first grade, is a 41 average. So the projected number, just off those stats, is about the same. I think that the Storm have some problems right now, which maybe gets a bit more ball in Sua's hands, but maybe hurts him as well because his wingers aren't going to be as effective. So the assists will be a bit harder to get. Whereas Cobbo, I think things are going right here. I like the matchup round one. I like the Herbie combination. I think he looks fit. Cobbo's in a contract year, and he signed a 1-year deal to prove it. So his intention this year is to come and ball out and get a massive contract. That's what he is thinking right now. So for all those reasons, I'd go Cobbo. He's also cheaper, and he has less of an injury history too. Like, there's a lot of things in his favor. I've got Cobbo. Like, his upside is lower than Suafolongo's. Like, across a full season, I think Sua's a better chance at averaging more. But I think Cobbo starts hotter, and I think he's less likely to burn me than than Sewer is. But I've got a soft spot for Cobbo, man. Like I really like him. Do you agree with me, or are you going the other way on that one?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
actually most likely going to antipod Suafongalongo
Ooh,
and go
spicy.
with Cobbo. So that's why I was asking if you had to pick one and
Yeah.
only one, because most teams, if you, now after this video, they might run both. But I'm actually going to go avoid Suafongalongo. I'm actually going to tip Parramatta in the first game against the Storm as well. So
Good
that's
choice.
also backing that mentality. If Para win that game, I feel like Suafongalongo is going to be in that low 30s score.
Yeah. I was just giving a thumbs up to one of the comments, by the way. Someone's asking for a few more things on Spotify. I'll put those up there too. If you do watch here, by the way, they're on Spotify. But yeah, I don't mind that call. I've got both of the boys there. So I've got Suafongalongo and Selwyn Cobbo going Reece Walsh. I've spent a bit of money there. If Cobbo goes bust, Beard goes maroon, white, and yellow. Oh, do it with Cobbo goes bust.
You're already dying, yeah? You might as well dye more colours.
I mean, surely the blonde's going to look worse. We've got a bit of love here too. Longy Turtles, lads, good to have you back. Mate, yeah, how long versus Cobbo? We've already answered that one for you. So that's prime. I'm a little bit behind on the questions. There's a funny comment there from Lachlan Camilleri before, by the way. Chester to outscore Herbie Farmworth. What do you think, Herbie? Actually, everyone, drop your comments here. What do you think Herbie scores in this game? For me, I'm looking at it. I'm thinking it's going to be a good start. I don't have Herbie in my side. I think he goes big to open up, though. I'm going to call it a 69.
I'm going to say 63.
Yeah. Both those are wins. So he's priced at a 63. So that's about what are you getting there? I think a bit above. We've got 89, 52, 56, 45, late 60s, 70, 100 flat, 999, 83, 39, 48. Herbie has to come down in price. Jack White will make sure of it. Negan is praying to the fantasy gods to get this one to happen. 62. Yeah, we're getting a lot of answers. 142. I just got to shout that out. That's imagine if he did. You know that game where he got injured? He was on 45 after about 15 minutes.
He was on track for it, yeah.
If you extrapolate that, that's like 200. Like that. So I think it was actually like 250 if you extrapolate it properly. Yeah, 114. We're getting some good numbers coming through. So everyone's thinking Herbie big game, 212. All right, guys, come on. But yeah, so we're all thinking Herbie big game here. I think he starts off with a cracker. Look, we've sort of covered the Dolphins there, so let's go to the Rabbitohs. And this one is where it gets really interesting because we're going to talk about this back row, specifically this man in jersey 12. But for the Rabbitohs, we've got Jai Gray at fullback, Alex Johnson, Latrell Mitchell, Jack Whiten, and Campbell Graham in the back line, Cody Walker, Ashton Ward in the halves, Totola, Garlic, Kalamatangi in the front row, Fafita, Aitken, Murray in the back row. Bench here is Peter Marmazelis, Talis Duncan, Lachlan Hubner, Sean Kepi. Then we look at Jaden Sullivan, halves cover, and Graham Taufer as that utility cover as well. So for South Sydney, Marmazelis is 100% going to come on and play some hooker. There's a chance that Garlic plays some lock while Marmazelis is on the field. You've then got Talis Duncan, who may go into the middle forward rotation, may go into the edge rotation. Hubner, who plays a bit of lock as well, and Sean Kepi, who's definitely in the prop spot. Now, I'm going to drop a few theories here because the assumption in preseason was that Talis Duncan was starting in the edge back row spot. There's potential that he was going to start in the edge back row spot. This is a theory I'm making up on the spot right now, by the way. Potentially he was going to start in the edge back row spot, and they just thought Cam Murray wasn't quite conditioned enough. And they went, you know what? We're going to give Cam Murray like 30 minutes in this game. Talis Duncan, we want you fresh so you can play 50 good minutes at lock. There's a chance that that's what they're doing. It's temporary, blah, blah, blah. It could be that. The other option here is Ewan Aitken has just won the starting spot. Talis Duncan is a bit more versatile. He plays all over the park, so maybe that's the reason. Really, we don't know. We're going to hope for news, but we don't know. For me, the Duncan, Aitken, Fafita situation, I'm on Fafita already. They have a bye in round 4. I'm not getting a second one. I'm curious to know, Turtles, are you in the same boat there when it comes to Ewan Aitken and Talis Duncan?
If Talis Duncan had to go on in this edge role, coming on off the bench as an edge, I feel like he's most likely going to replace Fafita instead of Aitken. So out of the two, I feel like Aitken has more potential to play 80 minutes, whereas Fafita will most likely get that 55, 60-minute role. Talis Duncan can also play in the middle, so he's versatile like that. He can start in the middle, move to edge, and then Fafita goes off. And then that way they all get around 50 to 60 minutes. Ewan Aiken's very interesting purely because he has that dual position. If he gets that 80 minutes, he's probably a lock in your side. So I'll probably wait and see before jumping on right now. I would like to watch this game. It's probably one of the most exciting games besides the Broncos game this week. But wait and see. If he does win that 80-minute second row spot, he's an easy plug and play second row up, playing in your centers, dual position, probably going to average you low 50s, I reckon, if he gets the 80-minute roll.
Man, there's value to be had here. Koloamatangi, he's one that's getting raised a lot as well. He's priced at like a 55, so you need some special performances from him. Could start hot, right? Like potential to start super hot. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it. Like it's a role that's going to degrade as we go along. That's my concern there with the Koloamatangi piece. Like, so I'm going to say no to Koloamatangi. People are mentioning Cheese. He's back in a couple of weeks. You can watch a week of Cheese and wait and see. You know, him coming back from, I think it's a calf issue. He's not going to light the world on fire the first week back. So, yeah, just let him prove it to you before you go buy him is my advice on Brandon Smith, because he might be the mascot this year, actually. Like, he might be the new Brendan Piakura, Tommy Talau at the rate he's going. Koloamatangi over 60 plus from Zach. Yeah, look, fair shout. A few people were saying that we're going to be giving Jack White and his flowers after this game, by the way. So, maybe we will. 8 over for Fafita. Fafita's a must-have. He's a must-have. 500K. He's a guy who's averaged like 65 in the past. He looked good in the trials. Even if he doesn't play 80 minutes, he's that guy. We got a few Souths fans. Can't wait for the Eels to get mollywopped. It's tough when you make a call. You just offend everyone. Jai Gray. Let's go here because he's in that price area with Suafea-Longo, a bit more expensive. So on Cobbo, these guys. I was really keen on Jai Gray in the preseason, and then I saw that trial game, and I saw him rack up, I think it was 80 meters run in nearly a full game, no attacking stats. I saw him not popping up in support. Like, they were making line breaks. He was never there. I just feel like the role he has this year is just not going to be productive because he's not going to be as ball dominant. I think he hasn't fully understood, or gelled into what the role is going to be this year. So I think he's going to miss a few beats there. Maybe he grows into it as the year goes on. But for me, I'm avoiding Jai Gray just on the back of that trial game. What do you think, Turtles?
I think I want my wingers to go absolutely boom. Jai Gray, I don't think he has that potential, especially sitting in this team where you have Campbell Graham, who puts in the work rate. Jack Whiten's proven himself time and time. Latrell Mitchell's an elite player. Then what you want to see from your fullback is that support play. If you have damaging forwards like the Rabbitohs have, David Fafita, Keon, Cameron Murray, you want to see, if they make that line break, you want to see your fullback right behind him, ready to take the ball, score the try. Okay? If we didn't see that, which we did not, and the Rabbits actually won that game as well, it wasn't like they were just losing and they had no ball. We didn't see it in the trial game. I'm really turned off at Jai Gray.
Yep, I agree with you completely, man. Ashton Ward, shout if you haven't said. I don't love this one. I think they had to get an exemption to get him into the team to play. Humphreys is back in round 3. I think he's the guy they're going to play there. There's obviously always a risk that Cody Walker gets hurt, so maybe he plays with Humphreys. I don't know. It's a bit messy. I think we have other options. Just quickly, too, people are asking why people saying Herbie's sick. They're lying. They're like, we asked for score predictions on Herbie, and people are sort of saying what they want to happen at this stage. Zavage, this is a great one from Zavage here. No Dylan Brown. So Dylan Brown's the mascot. Nickname is Project 7. Dylan Brown might be the mascot. If he scores another 35 next week, he's going to mascot status there. I needed 44 plus. With new 6-man interchange, I think Aitken starting is pretty obvious. His center versatility is now useless. Yeah, this is a good shout. So he is very unlikely to have to move to center, which does cost him a bit. I would say if Aitken was playing 80, so Aitken's priced at a 47, right? Priced at a 47. If he's guaranteed playing 80 minutes and not going to center, he's a 55 average. So there's 8 points of value there in the upper ceiling of what you could want to happen. Now, that's what you want to happen, right? Talis Duncan's on the bench. Dave Fafita's the marquee signing. Dave Fafita might get a rest, but maybe both of them get a rest. It's very messy. They also have that bye in round 4. You're going to have a couple of Rabbitohs on that bye. You won't have Brandon Smith by then, but you got a couple of bunnies. Like it's going to be a little tricky. So I'm personally avoiding, but I wouldn't talk anyone out of buying you an Aitken. And you made a good case for him before Turtles. I'll ask you about Cody Walker, Turts. Do you see any love for this? 300 something K?
If I had to pick between Cody Walker and Ethan Sanders, I'll pick Cody Walker.
Well, you're a Sanders hater, bro. Wow, that's crazy.
I think what we saw from Cody Walker in the preseason, it looked like he won back the clock. He took that running game basically by the balls. He literally grabbed the ball, stepped a few players. He was scoring tries galore. Like, he just looks young again, And Cody Walker, despite being as aggressive as he is, he actually has a really high footy IQ. I think he actually reads the game quite well. Now that he has Alex Johnston on the side back again, he's trying to go for that try-scoring record. Add Latrell Mitchell, add David Fafita. That is a very, very dynamic edge. There are a lot of weapons there. People defending him are going to be looking at those players. Where is Latrell Mitchell? Where is David Fafita? It's very easy for Cody Walker to be like, oh, you're not looking at me? I'm going to step out and walk through. And we saw that in the preseason, and I expect him to replicate that. I'm going to pick the experience over the inexperience versus Sanders if I had to pick them, just because they're around the same price point.
Yeah, bro, you nailed that. He's been like a high 40s guy in the past too, but he is 36. And you're back in an injury-free season from a guy who's been in and out as much as I'm not going to finish that sentence, but you get the vibe, right? It's a very risky call. We've got a few comments too. You're in the same room. Yes, we are. So I'm gonna own up to this one. I'm halfway through building the home studio. The walls look good. But the rest of the studio is not done. I'm looking at Turtles right now. So it's pretty easy. Dylan Brown getting rage traded. Don't trade Dylan Brown, guys. Don't trade Dylan Brown. I mean, you might, Turtles, but
I said with Dylan Brown, I'm gonna wait another week because I want Galvin. I liked what I saw from Galvin. Galvin has a bye next week. I'm going to give Dylan Brown one more week. I think they're versing Manly next week. If he can't score good against Manly, and if he can't score good against Cowboys when they win, he's out for me. So I'm going to not rage trade. I'm going to give him one more chance.
Yep, fair shout. We're going to ask the question here, Aitken or Toya?
Aitken. Bigger base. More reliable. Dual position. If he gets 80 minutes. If he doesn't get 80 minutes, Toya.
I'd go Toya just because I'm not confident in the 80 minutes. I'm not confident in the role. I'm worried about it all for Aitken. Like, Duncan's a really good player, right? But Aitken could pop off in this game. Like, he could absolutely pop off in this game. Because we're talking about South Sydney's attack. He's a fantastic line-running edge-back rower. So he could pump out 80+. So he has the same upside as Toya does, but yeah, they're both good options there. If Aitken plays 80 minutes, by the way, we're all going to be looking for ways to bring him in next week. Show us the studio soon. It's not done yet. Give it time. We'll do a proper announcement. And here we go. A few people are saying, I've been saying, thanks for that, Turtles. # Cody Walker. Got some fans there. Who has more upside between Flegler, Steep, and Nat Butcher? What do you think, Turtles?
Flegler has more job security. Steep has more upside.
Yeah, and Butcher's a different price bracket. So I agree with you. I think Steep's the one you want to go for. 100% back in the Turtles on the Cody Walker call, mate. You got Turtles is a genius. This is great, mate. This is great. You get the love. Cheapy sub for Patson, we're getting asked here. I mean, we've talked about a few of them. We're releasing a Cheapies video, by the way, later. So Jay-Z is doing that specialist Cheapies video. It's going to be updated with all the teamless news. So check that out. It's going to have all the reserve grade stats and all that as well. Let's do some questions, though, because we've sort of done the teams. Cam Murray is one that you want to wait for. He's hopefully like 500K at some point, and that's when we bring him in. Other than that, you're not buying Latrell Mitchell. Campbell Graham is an interesting pod. I actually think he's valued at about 440K. I'm not excited enough to do it, but, he's there. He's around.
During the preseason, you expect, like I said earlier, Alex Johnston, Latrell Mitchell, David Fafita, you expect all the ball to go to this left edge, which the Rabbits are notorious for, even before they had everyone not out of injury, even before they'd signed David Fafita. But during the preseason, Campbell Graham scored 2 tries. The ball went to the right plenty. And Campbell Graham, in the past, he's been good. Usually he's that center. So now he's that wing. Maybe we see a little bit of an uptick here. If you're looking for a cheeky pot at that price point, I think he's still dual position as well. Filling that annoying center spot, I don't hate it. It's a pod, but I don't hate it.
Yeah, South can score a try. I'm with you there completely if they stay fit. We got some questions for you too. Turtles, can you be my teacher?
No.
On History YouTube channel. Toya, the next Farmworth. I love the ambition there. Ethan Sanders a must. Turtle is saying he's not getting Sanders at all. I think he's someone you want to get just because of the role. I think he's going to be it's going to be a bit frustrating, but I think he averages over 40. So I think he's a guy you want to have. What were the must-have surprises from TLT? Before we start answering some team-specific questions, let's answer that. So Josh Paxton not starting for the Titans. He's in jersey like 21 or 22. That's a big one. Isaiah Papali'i is not starting on the edge. That's a big one for the Panthers. Ewan Aitken starting for the Rabbitohs.
Blake Steep was a very interesting one we talked about.
Yeah, that was one we were kind of hoping for. I didn't expect it. I was just kind of hoping it would happen. Lemuelu getting the start is kind of interesting. Outside of that, any other shocks? I'm just trying to look through the teams. No one from Manly or Canberra is interesting. I guess the start for Noah Martin is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I think Moses Leo going to center, maybe Nick Meaney.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes Nick Meaney better or worse because maybe he gets more involved with his kicking, but he's not like a defensive juggernaut in center anyway. So maybe moving to center with that goal kicking could be good. It's a bit iffy. Yeah,
that could be interesting. Leotel get this spot. Laban getting a starting spot. There are probably a few of the big surprises. Nat Butcher starting on the edge. Not a surprise, but it's good to confirm. Outside of that, Eels, nothing crazy. We thought Sean Russell would go to the edge. Obviously, Adokar's out. Yeah, nothing else really. Zach Lomax not named. That's one that's kind of funny to talk about. But yeah, so they're probably the surprises there. And Alex, nice one back. Atkinson all the way. Let's get some questions here. So the cheapies question, I want to hammer this home. We're doing a big cheapies video. Jay-Z is going to run that one. It's going to be comprehensive. Watch that video. You'll get all the cheapy information that you need there. That's going to be the one you want rather than me and Turtles kind of ad hocing it. I had Luke in my emergencies. Year of little faith. He was the loophole. He was the emergency 5 king. You had to have him as a loophole there. Oh. Who's the starting edge for the Titans? Aramu Howe. So he's a 42 average in reserve grade, according to one of the comments. I'm going to have to double check that, but he could be interesting here. How many tries will the GOAT Matt Dury score? What do you think here, Turtles?
If Eels are winning, he's going to score 4.
4 tries.
Nah, one. I feel like coming off the bench, maybe 1.
You got prime Josh Adokar in Matt Dury.
The Storm don't have a very forward-heavy bench. I feel like Para actually, they're going to show up for this. They're going to be up for this game. And Matt Dury, I don't know, maybe he can get a cheeky one.
I got a few funny comments here too. The price on Blake is a bit steep for me.
The steep crap.
That's a good one. We need to start doing some puns and stuff. Rank Hopgood, Stefano, and Tino. I would go for value. I mean, because I think Tino is the best of the 3, if you can afford him. But Hopgood's been a 60-plus average before. So I think Hopgood's the best value. But Turtles, you're obviously more on the Ataka Manu side, right?
I'm on the Stefano side just because of the bench. I feel like looking at the Eels bench, a lot of these players, they play in the middle. They're going to choose some minutes. You look at the Storm's bench. It's a bit dire. Storm don't look like they have the best team on paper at the moment, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Frost King, got Herbie in or hide behind the couch crying during the last game? That's where you get Cobbo and you kind of benefit. That's the key. A quick question here from a time traveler, Sanders or Atkinson. You can't really make that call because Atko's played. Atkinson, if you can.
maybe he's looping and Atkinson is sitting there with like a 60 and he's wondering, will Sanders get more than a 60?
I would take any score above probably a 38. I reckon that's probably the number for Sanders. Like my projection is probably about a 38. Still in Hopgood, maybe I like him, but I don't know if he's going to get the spot. Him or Tino, I'm probably leaning towards Tino if I can afford him, but we'll see how the cash goes. Would you be comfortable playing for Fifita and Lukey starting edge? What do you think, Turtles?
Yes, but I would also like to have a backup edge on that bench.
Agree with that. Maybe Josh Paxton.
Ryan Couchman.
Ryan Couchman. There you go. He's your starter, mate. He's your starter. Are you fellas liking Moses Leo as a backup loop option over Fairmoney now? DPP, super appealing to me. Yeah, the DPP is really good. Don't get rid of Bradman Best. He's got some soft matchups coming up. He's got Manly and the Warriors. So Warriors aren't going to be good until like round 6. Then they're going to heat up. But until round 6, I think they're dodgy. So, yeah, I've got Mosley over Fayamani myself. Sanders, a must. Nah, not according to Turtles. I think he is. But who to replace for IPAP and Patson? We'll talk about that a bunch. Steep or Colhoun? We both like Steep a bit more. My fantasy teacher, Mr. Turtles. How many tries will the GOAT make? Oh, yeah, I think I've got some repeats here. The jokes were so good they had to tell them twice. Ballers, how you going, man? What are you guys' thoughts on Laban, Mr. Warriors team list? You can recap that one, Turtles.
A little bit dicey for me. I think he could go quite well, but Capewell has proven time over time he can show up a lot of minutes. And with Lekis Halasima sitting on the bench, we have no idea what the minute split is going to be between those 3 players.
We've got this question here. Steep, 30 minutes, Watson, 50. I think Steep doesn't just play lock. I think he plays a bit of middle forward. Just the Roosters kind of play their props relatively fluidly. They've got a lot of guys, like Nat Butcher plays prop. They don't really view prop as like a specialist position compared to lock. So I think Steep's going to get plenty of minutes. I'm going to say I was going to predict like a 45-minute game from him, but I'm hoping it's a Ryan Couchman 60. Started Lukey, back to big game. Good shout, Noz. How many minutes will Stefano get? What do you think here, Turtles?
I'm hoping 60.
60. That'd be nice. If he gets 60, he's a 55 average easy. Just so you guys know how $100 won the spot. Okay. Did he pay to win the spot? I'm not sure I understand that comment.
Why is it only $100?
Aitken starting. Jay-Z said if he starts straight into his side. Yeah, Jay-Z is looking closely. He probably will own Aitken. He loves an edge back rower. Toby Couchman, I wouldn't stress about that one too much. Toby Couchman was on 46 at the end of 80 minutes and got a big score in the back end. So fading Couch was almost a very good move. I'm new to fantasy. I'll keep watching this, and it helps a lot, mate. No worries. We try to go through it all. If you guys are new, if you're a new player, the big thing I'm going to say, and Turtles, I reckon you say the same thing, is back your gut and take some big calls, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like making mistakes is how you learn. And sometimes you get them right, and it works really well too. But if you just try to follow the crowd, you're not going to learn anything. So make your own big calls. That's the play there. And great stream, lads. Yeah, I reckon we're running out of steam here. Any last notes here from you, Turtles?
Have fun with your pod. So if you really like a player, like in the preseason, I was very hot on Hamoli Olakuatu. I really liked what I thought about the logic behind that. Have fun with your pods. If you really like a player, pick that player, you know? If you enjoy watching footy, you're going to enjoy it more while watching footy if that player is on your team. I'm going to have Reece Walsh. I'm going to enjoy watching him.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. Like that's got to be a tiebreaker. Like you want to look at your team and think like, I'm excited to see that guy. Like if the OGs, people who've been playing for a long time, remember, there was the Conrad Hurrell versus Simon Mannering debate in like 2013. Like which center did you go for? And back then it was 3 points for a tackle break. And I love the Connie Hurrell run. It's a lot of fun. So it was like Brad and Best this year. You got to take a swing at some guys and have a bit of a laugh. So yeah, great advice, Turtles. Great advice. And I'll finish on this. Turtles, you just convinced BMC to keep Herbie Farmworth. Probably not what you were expecting, but hey.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, that's a 2-hour stream. Cracker. It got over 1,400 viewers too, which is the best we've ever had. So absolutely love it. If you're enjoying it, make sure you do subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We just passed 20,000, but let's keep on growing this thing. Let's keep having a good time. And if you do want to chat more fantasy, 2 hours it's taken out of me. If you want to chat more fantasy, the Discord is in the link of basically every video description. You can join the Discord for free, about 4,000 coaches there. There's also the elite channels that you can get into for one-to-one help too. So appreciate you guys. Absolutely love it. Have a cracker of a week, and we'll see you on Buy, Hold, Sell, Team Reveals, all the other videos. Thank you, Turtle, for coming on.